You're listening to the Acadiana's Morning News Podcast, brought to you by LABI and always on KPEL965.com.
Against Child Abuse, BACA, exists with the intent to create a safer environment for abused children. We exist as a body of bikers to empower children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. We stand ready to lend support to our wounded friends by involving them with an established, united organization. We work in conjunction with local and state officials who are already in place to protect children. We desire to send a clear message to all involved with the abused child that this child is part of our organization and that we are prepared to lend our physical and emotional support to them by affiliation and our physical presence. We stand at the ready to shield these children from further abuse. We do not condone the use of violence or physical force in any manner. However, if circumstances arise such that we are the only obstacle preventing a child from further abuse, we stand ready to be that obstacle. If you'd like to know more about BACA, please visit our website at bacaworld.org or call 1-866-71-ABUSE.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman to save money.
We need a new stuntman!
You just need feedthepig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette. Broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pros studio. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
President Biden is back on top. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, leading former President Trump in a new Fox News poll for the first time since October, as the president goes to Camp David today to prep for their debate a week from today.
President Biden is ahead of former President Trump in the Fox News poll by 2 points. The president's favored by women, specifically white women with college degrees, urban voters, and those over 65. Former President Trump is favored by men, white men without college degrees, and evangelical voters. Independents favor President Biden by 9 points. Fox pollsters say a shift in how voters feel about the economy may be playing a role. 32% say the economy is in good or fair shape. That is up 15 points from a low point in July 2 years ago.
That's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. We could get a Supreme Court ruling today on a big Trump case. The former president's claim he should be immune from prosecution for official acts while he was in office. It's one of more than 20 cases that justices have yet to decide this term. We'll get rulings today and tomorrow. A new Louisiana law may end up at the Supreme Court.
The new law requires the 10 Commandments be displayed poster-sized in an easily readable font in every Louisiana public school classroom, kindergarten through state-funded colleges starting next year. Court challenges are expected. A similar law, enacted in Kentucky in 1980, was struck down by the U.S. Supreme Court as unconstitutional.
Fox's Jack Callahan. The first tropical storm of the Atlantic season, Alberto, is about to make landfall near Tampico, Mexico. Its heavy rains have also drenched South Texas, causing some flooding, while 2 wildfires keep scorching New Mexico, where 2 people have been killed. More than 1,400 structures burned.
I could literally see flames. I could see structures, houses with flames kind of coming up behind them.
He lives in Rio Doso, where the entire town's been evacuated. Russian President Vladimir Putin's in Vietnam today, signing agreements the day after a trip to North Korea to strengthen their military alliance. Leader Kim Jong-un pledging full support for Russia's war in Ukraine. America's listening to Fox News.
You know, since 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been committed to supporting our nation's first responders and veterans. They support America's heroes like U.S. Army Major Jonathan Turnbull. Now, Major Turnbull sustained devastating injuries at the hands of an ISIS suicide bomber. Tunnel to Towers gave him a specially adapted smart home designed for his needs. Join Tunnel to Towers. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month so this great work continues. Their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Progressive presents 10 things on a contractor's to-do list that are harder than getting a commercial auto insurance quote. Bidding a new client, giving an accurate estimate, finding affordable materials, getting a client to pay you for work you already did, getting a client to pay you, period, securing permits and workers and tools, getting those workers and tools to work together, and finding the perfect pair of overalls. Pockets, baby. But the easiest thing on a small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you can save on commercial auto insurance. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
An American is on trial in Russia starting today. Ksenia Karolina, charged with treason. She's from Los Angeles and has dual Russian citizenship. So when she went back to visit family in February, Karolina was arrested, accused of raising money for a Ukrainian organization. Her boyfriend says she donated $50. Her trial is in the same court where an American journalist will also go on trial.
Evan Gershkovich was arrested on March 29, 2023. He only recently learned his closed-door trial will begin next week in Yekaterinburg, the city where he was detained. The reporter is accused of spying on a Russian military facility for the CIA. He and his employer, the Wall Street Journal, say that's not true. The US has classified the 32-year-old as wrongfully detained and the charges ridiculous. According to the Kremlin, the two governments have been in contact about a possible prisoner swap. There's no word, though, on how close a deal might be. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
A migrant in the U.S. illegally has been arraigned in New York, where the Post reports he admits to prosecutors he raped a 13-year-old girl in a park last week, even recorded it.
Christian Inga Landy is being held on charges of predatory sexual assault and other counts, to include rape and kidnapping. He was detained by Queens, New York residents who identified him from video footage and held him until authorities arrived. Queens DA Melinda Katz praised residents for reacting.
I am thankful that the community responded. We got the arrest within a day or two. I want to thank NYPD, by the way. They got the word out. They got the picture out.
Police say Inga Landy, who is from Ecuador, was in the country illegally. DA Katz says there was an immigration warrant out for him.
That's Fox's Gernal Scott. On Wall Street, stock futures are rising after a Juneteenth holiday break. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wirtz with a look at news on this Thursday, June 20th. One man has been arrested following a multi-agency investigation. A coordinated effort between Iberia, Vermilion, Acadia, and Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Offices led to the apprehension of 37-year-old Damon Campbell on Tuesday. Campbell was arrested in Iberia Parish and booked into the Lafayette Parish Correctional Center on one count of attempted first-degree murder. The case involves allegations of crimes committed against a juvenile, so no further details will be provided. A Rain Man is in custody following a standoff in Acadia Parish Wednesday afternoon. Deputies had been looking for Des Moines DeCluet on outstanding warrants when they saw him enter his home. They attempted to make contact before getting a search warrant. Once inside, they found DeCluet hiding in the attic. DeCluet faces 24 counts of violation of a protective order, 23 counts of telephone harassment, and 1 count of aggravated obstruction of a highway. Sources are reporting that Louisiana head softball coach Jerry Glasgow may be leaving UL to accept a position at Texas Tech. With the exception of the 2020 season, Glasgow has led the Raging Cajuns to NCAA postseason play each of the 7 years he's been coaching them. He's also got 6 Sun Belt Conference championships under his belt. Governor Jeff Landry signed the 10 Commandments bill into law Wednesday morning. The law requires public schools and colleges to display the 10 Commandments in each classroom. At a Republican fundraiser in Tennessee, Landry said he can't wait to be sued for signing the bill, and the ACLU of Louisiana said they will sue because the U.S. Supreme Court has already overturned a similar law more than 40 years ago. The ACLU of Louisiana, along with other advocacy groups, say they will be filing a lawsuit on the grounds of separation of church and state. Governor Landry also signed the LA Gators Scholarship Program into law Wednesday, which will provide vouchers for more parents to send their kids to better schools. Bill author Senator Rick Edmonds of Baton Rouge says Gator will look similar to the current voucher program for low-income students and students in low-rated schools. The plan is to eventually expand Gator to cover students of all incomes in schools. Phase 1 of Gator is set to start in the 2025-26 school year. All Louisiana library systems are now required by law to implement options for parents to restrict what material and content their children can access. The new regulation was passed during the 23 regular season. Lafayette Public Libraries now offer both restricted and unrestricted child cards. Library cards issued to minors prior to May 28th of this year will still be valid to use at the library, but will be set to a restricted access level by default on August 7th. Questions should be directed to the Lafayette Public Libraries Administration Office. A federal judge is considering whether to issue a preliminary injunction that would block farm line operations at Angola Prison when the heat index reaches 88 degrees. Plaintiff Ronald Marshall says the brutality of the Angola farm line isn't a secret, and refusing to work results in solitary confinement. The State Department of Corrections says the work conducted on the farm line is in accordance with constitutional and industrial standards, and policies are in place to make sure the inmates are safe, like allowing for rest and water breaks every 30 minutes once a heat alert is issued. The DOC maintains the policy and the operation of the farm line is constitutionally appropriate. New red drum regulations go into effect today. There's a 4-fish daily limit per angler. You can only keep red drum that measure between 18 and 27 inches in length. The retention of red drum by captains or crew on charter or headboats while on a for-hire trip is also prohibited. These limits are in place to help increase the population of red drum after LDWF discovered evidence of overfishing. That's a look at your news. I'm Tracy Wirtz.
This hour of Acadiana's Morning News has been brought to you by Jani King. The King of Clean has been a leader in the cleaning industry on the Gulf Coast for over 35 years. To find out more about their cleaning and disinfecting services, head to their website at janiking.com.
Got a case of the I don't know what I want to eat? Well, check the Dining by District page at eatlafayette.com and choose a restaurant. While dining, check in using your digital passport to win a 3-night getaway with airfare from Wings Travel to Austin, Texas for 2. Eatlafayette.com. From Lafayette.
Did you know that 1 in 14 children experience homelessness at some point in time in their life? The Gifting Grace Project, Acadiana's homeless children's outreach, seeks to help them. Go to giftinggraceproject.com to partner with us or text GGP to 53555 and donate today.
Hi, I'm Dale Brown, best-selling techno-thriller author. I'm also a mission pilot and squadron commander in the Civil Air Patrol. The members of the Civil Air Patrol are volunteer professionals who serve their communities and their nation every day with emergency services, aerospace education, and cadet programs. We train hard, we fly hard, and we get the job done for America. Join the Civil Air Patrol. Visit www.gocivilairpatrol.com and let's go flying.
New pet dreams.
Will he catch frisbees?
Will she be friendly?
Will he chase balls?
And lifelong wishes. Will they be healthy? Start with regular veterinary exams. Call your veterinarian today. A message from your local veterinarians.
I want to help more kids graduate from high school.
Help more families learn how to budget and save.
I want my neighbors to have access to health care.
Help create opportunities for everyone in your community. Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Mostly sunny skies to start the day here, with a few clouds getting into the area by the afternoon. A 40% chance for some scattered showers and a couple thunderstorms. Highs getting up to about 92 degrees today. Winds from the east at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Overnight lows in the mid-70s, and a similar forecast coming up again for tomorrow. Drier air is on the way, and we should get it by Saturday. Temperatures will be in the mid-90s for the start of the weekend. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
All right, my microphone is deciding it wants to sleep this morning. Sorry, guys. On the roadways right now, they are working a hit-and-run accident, looks like on a surface street. Bellefontaine at its intersection with William Drive. Yeah, it's a surface street right off of Johnston. And that's all the accidents this morning. Current temperature is 76 degrees. Good morning and welcome into Acadiana's Morning News on this Thursday, June the 20th. It's the summer solstice. Tracy Wirtz joining you, and joining me this morning is Jamie Angel. Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning.
Is your brain awake yet?
Yeah.
You know what? If you pull that back arm up a little bit more, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, it's kind of like playing Jenga with the microphone.
Microphone Jenga.
Yes, absolutely. Again, it is, what did I say, June 20th?
June 20th, yeah.
All day long. It's the summer solstice. It's the longest day of the year. Now, and I always have to chuckle when I say that, Jamie, because it's still 24 hours.
Right. Right. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, the thing is the sun's going to be out long.
The longest day of the year for me, probably. Aside from last Thursday when I was here, and then today.
Today will be another long day. It is National Seashell Day. I wish I was on the beach collecting seashells. It's National Ice Cream Soda Day, which I think down here we call a Coke float.
Coke float. We had some. I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, you know what? We haven't had in a while. Root beer float.
Root beer float.
And I never was a big root beer person, but it hit the spot.
Really?
Some Bluebell, some root beer.
Oh yeah, and you know what? I remember, I don't know, within the last couple of years, I was actually in New Orleans, and I was leaving New Orleans. I had a meeting or whatever, coming back, and I'm like, man, I'm thirsty. I need something. I don't think I'd eaten. And there was actually a Chick-fil-A across from where I was staying. So I said, well, I'm going to go through Chick-fil-A. Maybe they'll have something interesting for me to eat or drink or whatever. So they had something on the menu, and it was a lemonade. I don't remember what the name of it was, but in my mind, it was like just lemonade, just a fancy lemonade, right? Well, I get it, and it's lemonade and ice cream.
Oh, no.
Wait. And I was like, and it was like a shake kind of thing. And I thought, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to like that. Let me tell you.
Stop.
Let me tell you.
Curdle or anything?
Huh?
It didn't curdle or?
I don't know what voodoo magic they did, but it was good. So just a word to the wise. It might be something you want to try out.
Creamsicle. I can't do creamsicle.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a big creamsicle fan either. Let's see what else. It's World Tapas Day and World Productivity Day. That should be every day, but yeah, I know. I'm kind of like you. Well, whatever. On this date in 1782, after years of discussions, the U.S. adopted the Great Seal national symbol, which, of course, features the iconic bald eagle. On this date in 1893, a jury in New Bedford, Massachusetts, found Lizzie Borden not guilty of the axe murders of her father and stepmother. I know.
Did she do it?
I don't know, but Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her father 40 whacks or whatever. You remember that rhyme?
Like, I've heard of Lizzie Borden. Don't know anything about the story.
You know, the rhyme. Let's see. Hey, hold on. You say something clever, and I'm going to look up.
Something clever. Lizzie Borden
rhyme.
It's not something I've seen, but
okay, here we go. Here it is. Yes, Lizzie Borden rhyme. Lizzie Borden. Here we go. I can't believe you've never heard this.
Oh, I've heard it.
I know you have.
Go back up.
I did? Okay.
Yeah. It's in italics.
Oh, okay. I missed that. Oh, there it is. Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. And when she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41, which is just gross. But
I remember.
Yeah.
A little brutal.
But I had no idea she was not found guilty.
That's a nursery rhyme and a half.
Pleasantries. On this date in 1947, gangster Benjamin Bugsy Siegel was shot dead at the Beverly Hills, California home of his girlfriend, apparently at the order of mob associates. On this date in 1967, I knew he had gone to jail, but I didn't know why. Here you go. Boxer Muhammad Ali was convicted in Houston of violating selective service laws by refusing to be drafted, and he was actually sentenced to 5 years in prison. His conviction was ultimately overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court.
Never knew that.
I had heard that he had gone to prison, but I didn't know why. Now I do. On this date in 1966, Sheila Scott became the first woman to fly solo around the world. And in 1972, 3 days after the arrest of the Watergate burglars, President Richard Nixon met at the White House with his chief of staff. The secretly made tape recording of this meeting ended up with the notorious 18.5-minute gap.
Why did they record it in the first place?
What, right? Yeah.
Well,
what were you thinking? What were you thinking? It was the day before cell phones, no recording. Just, you don't need all of that. But anyway, there you go. This day in history. Coming up later this morning. By the way, history professor Bob Carricker is in Italy. So he's not joining us.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, you love that.
It is my favorite, of all radio segments I've ever heard in my short 44 years, my absolute favorite.
I like Bob, too. I learned some interesting things.
Fascinating.
Yeah. No, and he's so smart. You can almost throw anything at him, and he's just like...
And he just makes it real interesting. I don't know. He just has a way about telling you about something that normally you would not
I don't care
about.
Mm-hmm.
And he just makes you just want to hear more about it.
Yeah, it makes me want to go audit his class. Also, Lafayette Live this morning. We have one of the directors from Lafayette Consolidated Government coming in. And then it's our law enforcement segment in the 8 o'clock hour. Today, we hear from Youngsville Police Chief Cody Olivier. And then at 8:30, we will talk to the folks from the Lafayette Police Department who have been, unfortunately, very busy over the last couple of weeks. KPEL News Time is 6:19.
Fox on Tech. Another U.S. government agency makes the case that TikTok is bad for your kids. The Federal Trade Commission is now urging the U.S. Department of Justice to take action, believing that TikTok and its China-based parent company ByteDance are violating federal laws, both the FTC Act of 1914 and the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. While the FTC didn't publicly detail what prompted their statement, previously published reports accused TikTok and ByteDance of making users' data available to entities based in the People's Republic of China, such as the ruling Communist Party. To what end is unknown, but that is the reason Congress and President Biden signed a law demanding ByteDance sell the property to a U.S.-based operator or face a ban, something which potentially could take TikTok's U.S. audience away from it. No word on what the DOJ might do in the future. With Fox on Tech, I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Make it even more important by dining at an Eat Lafayette restaurant and using your digital passport to check in to win a 3-night getaway with airfare to Austin, Texas for 2 from Wings Travel. EatLafayette.com from Lafayette Travel.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guys in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B20.
Mostly sunny skies to start the day here, with a few clouds getting into the area by the afternoon. A 40% chance for some scattered showers and a couple thunderstorms. Highs getting up to about 92 degrees today. Winds from the east at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Overnight lows in the mid-70s, and a similar forecast coming up again for tomorrow. Drier air is on the way, and we should get it by Saturday. Temperatures will be in the mid-90s for the start of the weekend. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
We're still showing that hit and run, Bellefontaine at William Drive. That's off Johnston Street on the opposite side of like Antigua and Grand Avenue and that sort of thing. It is a surface street, but just know that police may be asking for information on who the driver was that left the scene. Current temperature is 76 degrees. Good morning and welcome back into Acadiana's Morning News. It is 7:24 on this Thursday, June the 20th. It's the summer solstice. The sun is coming out early and it's going to set late. Longest day of the year.
It doesn't set until my house is still light at like 8:40 outside.
Yeah, it's, let's see if it tells us I'm on the National Weather Service. You probably know better than I do where to look for this stuff. They usually have sunrise and sunset.
Right.
You see it?
Nope.
Psych.
We'll figure it out eventually.
Psych. Yeah, we'll figure that out for you. What I do want to talk about is something exciting and fun, and make a plea to folks to go to LafayetteTravel.com. We have a link at our website as well, so that you can vote for Lafayette as the best culinary town by Local Palate Magazine, the South's best culinary town by Local Palate Magazine. If you remember last week, Jamie, we were telling people, look, we're in the top 10. We need to be in the top 3. Well, we made it.
Of course we did.
So thank you very much. I need to go vote again today because you can vote once a day.
I'm going to go vote right now.
Till tomorrow. You do that. And then you can vote again tomorrow. And when you go, you click on Lafayette and hit, I think, next or whatever. And you put your name in, your email address, and then it does ask you where you live, the city and the state. I was saying yesterday that I don't know if they, like, let's say you live in Lafayette, if they make that worth less because you live in Lafayette. I would hope not. You know, I don't want them stuffing the ballot box or making out of state.
Rigged.
Yeah, right. Out of state votes worth more. The criteria on which they determined who would be in the running: restaurant, bar, and cafe scene, town farmers markets, educational classes, coffee shops, kitchen and home goods retailers, wine shops, and several other things. And what's interesting to me, and I'm going to gloat a minute here, allow me to gloat, is that New Orleans didn't make it.
Well, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. I mean, I love Louisiana, but I love the Lafayette area more.
Absolutely. And I was looking at the other cities that are in there. Alpharetta, Georgia.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't even know. I don't remember what the last one was.
Charlottesville.
North Carolina.
Is it Virginia? No, it's like
Virginia.
one of the Virginias. It might be Virginia, and
What
not
do they
West
eat
Virginia.
there? Like potatoes? Steak?
I don't know. Probably Georgia, maybe some sort of seafood.
Some grits.
Yeah.
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 No flavor.
No, I don't
Peaches in it.
understand. And when you do look at restaurant, bar, cafe scene, farmers, all of the things, if you look at all of the things, Lafayette, hands down should be the winner. We should be on the front of that magazine, and that's what will happen if we win.
Question for you.
Okay.
If you had to pick a final meal, what would it be?
A good hamburger and French fries.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know that sounds weird because a lot of people are like steak or what. Yeah, it would probably be a good I could probably eat hamburgers and good ones, not like, like a good,
like a juicy,
well seasoned, got the big meats, like my grandmother used to say. A really good hamburger on good bread. Like everything has to line up.
You do all the fixins like lettuce, tomatoes.
Yeah, lettuce, tomatoes. I like extra pickles. However, if I like avocados on my burgers.
Okay.
So if I do,
I like a fried egg.
You like that?
Yeah, with the soft runny yolk. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
My husband likes that. If I have avocados, though, I'm not going to have pickles on it. I don't know why that doesn't go together.
Yeah, it doesn't sound.
Yeah, that doesn't go. And cheese, the right kind of cheese, like cheddar, pepper jack, something. I'm telling you, I just love hamburgers.
I'm so hungry right now.
Well, we'll need to fix that. We have a lot more to do this morning. Jamie Angel joining me on this Thursday. KPEL News Time is 6:29.
KPEL covers Acadiana with Lowry's Printing and Copying.
Dr. John W. Sutherland will give a fun and informative presentation about his third environmental book at the Southside Regional Library in Lafayette on Johnston Street, Saturday, June 22nd at 2 p.m. Sutherland has conducted environmental projects worldwide and in Louisiana. His third book, Hogwash, addresses environmental concerns about confined animal feeding operations. First 5 attendees get a free autographed copy. Derek J. Olivier Foundation of Louisiana Scholarship Fund is a fundraiser for young Derek, who lost his life unexpectedly as a college student. The fundraiser is Saturday, June 22nd at Mona Mee, 7304 Highway 90 East in Jeanerette, 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Music by EJ the DJ, some delicious food, all for a great cause. Get more details. Call Alma at 337-579-0308.
This is House Call for Health. A recent report on kids and sleep says some young kids aren't having an easy time drifting off to fairy tale land and staying there. In a national poll on children's health from C.S. Mott Children's Hospital, about 1/4 of parents say bedtime is difficult for their kids ages 1 to 6, and that worries or anxiety were among the top reasons. The poll also finds that when kids are worried, they may wake up crying, move to their parents' bed, or want parents to stay in their rooms with them, and that having nighttime routines for kids, such as brushing teeth, telling bedtime stories, praying, or even having stuffed animals, makes it easier to fall asleep. The report also says while a dark room is considered the best environment for healthy sleep, parents can gradually help children feel more comfortable sleeping in darkness by using a nightlight or cracking open the door. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health, I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the Cape Hill News app. Now the headlines from the Cape Hill News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wirtz with a look at news on this Thursday, June 20th. One man has been arrested following a multi-agency investigation. A coordinated effort between Iberia, Vermilion, Acadia, and Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Offices led to the apprehension of 37-year-old Damon Campbell on Tuesday. Campbell was arrested in Iberia Parish and booked into the Lafayette Parish Correctional Center on one count of attempted first-degree murder. The case involves allegations of crimes committed against a juvenile, so no further details will be provided. A Rain Man is in custody following a standoff in Acadia Parish Wednesday afternoon. Deputies had been looking for Des Moines DeCluet on outstanding warrants when they saw him enter his home. They attempted to make contact before getting a search warrant. Once inside, they found DeCluet hiding in the attic. DeCluet faces 24 counts of violation of a protective order, 23 counts of telephone harassment, and 1 count of aggravated obstruction of a highway. Sources are reporting that Louisiana head softball coach Jerry Glasgow may be leaving UL to accept a position at Texas Tech. With the exception of the 2020 season, Glasgow has led the Raging Cajuns to NCAA postseason play each of the 7 years he's been coaching them. He's also got 6 Sun Belt Conference championships under his belt. Governor Jeff Landry signed the 10 Commandments bill into law Wednesday morning. The law requires public schools and colleges to display the 10 Commandments in each classroom. At a Republican fundraiser in Tennessee, Landry said he can't wait to be sued for signing the bill, and the ACLU of Louisiana said they will sue because the U.S. Supreme Court has already overturned a similar law more than 40 years ago. The ACLU of Louisiana, along with other advocacy groups, say they will be filing a lawsuit on the grounds of separation of church and state. Governor Landry also signed the LA Gators Scholarship Program into law Wednesday, which will provide vouchers for more parents to send their kids to better schools. Bill author Senator Rick Edmonds of Baton Rouge says Gator will look similar to the current voucher program for low-income students and students in low-rated schools. The plan is to eventually expand Gator to cover students of all incomes in schools. Phase 1 of Gator is set to start in the 2025-26 school year. All Louisiana library systems are now required by law to implement options for parents to restrict what material and content their children can access. The new regulation was passed during the 23 regular season. Lafayette Public Libraries now offer both restricted and unrestricted child cards. Library cards issued to minors prior to May 28th of this year will still be valid to use at the library, but will be set to a restricted access level by default on August 7th. Questions should be directed to the Lafayette Public Library's administration office. A federal judge is considering whether to issue a preliminary injunction that would block farm line operations at Angola Prison when the heat index reaches 88 degrees. Plaintiff Ronald Marshall says the brutality of the Angola farm line isn't a secret and refusing to work results in solitary confinement. The State Department of Corrections says the work conducted on the farm line is in accordance with constitutional and industrial standards, and policies are in place to make sure the inmates are safe, like allowing for rest and water breaks every 30 minutes once a heat alert is issued. The DOC maintains the policy and the operation of the farm line is constitutionally appropriate. New red drum regulations go into effect today. There's a 4-fish daily limit per angler. You can only keep red drum that measure between 18 and 27 inches in length. The retention of red drum by captains or crew on charter or headboats while on a for-hire trip is also prohibited. These limits are in place to help increase the population of red drum after LDWF discovered evidence of overfishing. That's a look at your news. I'm Tracy Wirtz.
Faith House has been Acadiana's safe haven since 1981 for victims suffering from violent or aggressive behavior in the home. This includes physical, emotional, financial, or sexual violence. We provide shelter, safety, advocacy, and resources to survivors and their children to empower them to break the cycle of abuse. Domestic violence affects 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men in their lifetime. In 2016, Faith House opened the Family Justice Center located downtown Lafayette, which houses law enforcement, prosecutors, civil legal services, and advocates under one roof to expedite the response time to domestic violence and reduce homicide rates. If you or someone you know is in need of assistance, please call our crisis line at 888-411-1333 to speak to an advocate. If you would like to support our mission, find us on Facebook under Faith House Acadiana or our website, faithhouseacadiana.com. On behalf of the survivors and children we serve, thank you for 39 years of care for those hurting in our community.
Media Minute with Howard Kurtz.
In a polarized media culture which nobody agrees on anything, there is an exception. Willie Mays, who just died at 93, widely now considered to be the greatest baseball player of all time. He started out in the Negro Leagues, but then had 660 major league home runs. Only Babe Ruth had more when he retired. Blazing speed on the base pass, the famous 1954 World Series catch over the shoulder, and he came about a few years after Jackie Robinson at a time when more Americans had TVs and could watch this black superstar. And compared to Michael Jordan, his personality, the say hey kid, people just love this guy. I was a Mickey Mantle fan, but he got injured a lot. And as he went on from the New York Giants to the San Francisco Giants, and then with the New York Mets, he was 42, he had a bum knee, he still managed to hit a game-winning World Series home run. With your Media Minute, Howie Kurtz, Fox News.
Mostly sunny skies to start the day here with a few clouds getting into the area by the afternoon. A 40% chance for some scattered showers and a couple thunderstorms. Highs getting up to about 92 degrees today. Winds from the east at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Overnight lows in the mid-70s and a similar forecast coming up again for tomorrow. Drier air is on the way and we should get it by Saturday. Temperatures will be in the mid-90s for the start of the weekend. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
Okay, here we go with traffic. No accidents on the roadways right now. That's good news. Sun is coming up on this summer solstice. Current temperature 76 degrees. KPEL News Time is 6:42. Straight up 6:42, or exactly, it was like 3 seconds ago. Tracy Wirtz joining you on Acadiana's Morning News. Joining me this morning is Jamie Angel riding shotgun. Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah, fighting the urge not to sing along with Journey.
Well, you can.
No, you don't want me to.
Yeah, well, now. Okay, I have to tell you a story, and I'll tell you why you should care. Okay? We have heard several times when Thomas Gosson was on. By the way, we'll have the new Trooper PIO, Peggy Bork, coming in July.
Where'd Thomas go? Where's he going?
He's guarding the governor.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he's got like a big
him.
job. Yeah, I'm excited for him because it really was. Sure. It was a promotion for him, so we're excited. But Thomas would come in almost every week and talk about seatbelts, and I think people were like, ugh. God, could you stop? Right now, the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission has a campaign, and I know that you hear it. Buckle your seatbelt. Thomas also would several times talk about distracted driving, put down your cell phone, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, yesterday, I'm driving home, and my son calls me, and he's 25, so typically, like, he ain't calling nobody. He's texting, right? So I'm like, oh, I hope nothing's wrong. So I answer the phone and I answer it to this very shaky voice. Mom, like I can tell something's wrong. Mom, I'm okay, but I've just been in an accident. I can you come? Mm-hmm. And so, I'm just really shaken up. I think I'm okay, whatever. He said, I'm on Ambassador Caffrey. So if you were on Ambassador Caffrey yesterday between about 2:00 and 4:00 and you were stuck in traffic, this is why. So, of course, I drive way too fast, full disclosure, to get
just
to
for
my
that,
son.
yeah.
Like, I'm like,
perfectly understand.
I am just like, I need to get my hands on him. I don't care that he's 25. If you have adult children, they are never not your babies. So I make it to Lafayette, and thank you so much, I have to say, to Courtesy Lincoln for allowing us to kind of congregate or park our cars right there, because it was right across from that. Once I get there, there is this giant raised bright yellow crew cab Ford that has slammed into a Volvo SUV that looks crunched. My son's car was in the front of that. You can't even see the trunk anymore. The front and the back are crunched. There's a truck in front of him who has been hit. And we would find out that there was another SUV in front of the truck that had been hit. So 5 vehicles were involved. Here are the things. The proof is in the pudding, as you say. This is why we talk about seatbelt safety. This is why we talk about not being distracted. The other 4 cars that were hit were all at a stand. They were stuck in traffic. They were at a standstill. Mm-hmm. One of the drivers said he glanced in his mirror and noticed this truck coming. And he said, I told myself, she's not stopping. Mm-hmm. Like she's just rolling. Like she's not stopping. And she wasn't. And if you pass that wreck, Well,
and looking at the pictures you showed me, the fact that your son's car was the 3rd car in line to get in the chain reaction, and as much damage as it had, she had to have been going like 50, 60 miles an hour.
They say that she was probably going at least 45, at least. Now, I don't know for a fact that she was on her phone. She was digging in her purse. I don't know what she was doing.
Zoning out something.
But she was not paying attention. That is clear. So pay attention. There's nothing else that you're doing right then and there that's worth it, number one. Number two, we all know how bad traffic is on Ambassador Caffrey. All the time.
Always.
Why would you be doing anything else? Why? Because you drive there every day and you're used to it? Well, guess what? Apparently, yeah.
Well, now you're messing me up, Tracy, because my daughter just turned 17, and I've been putting off driver's ed for so long. Look. She starts next month, and I'm,
Yeah.
No, I don't want.
I remember
my baby,
I get it. I remember when my oldest daughter got her driver's license, and she took off for the first time by herself. I wasn't worried about her being careful. It was everybody else on the road. Like I wanted to get on a bullhorn and say, "Stay out of her way." Stay way away. Like I was so scared for her. It is
scared
terrifying.
for me.
Yeah.
So we went and got her permit a few weeks ago, right? So I'm like, yeah. We were in Bro Bridge. We're on Grand Point Highway. Not a lot of cars. So I pull off and I'm like, I'm gonna let her drive the straight shot. Mm-hmm. Just pulling back onto she was. We were parked the same direction of traffic. Just pulling onto the highway almost gave me a heart attack. Yeah. And then trying to stop and pull off. I was like, okay, maybe we need to start in some parking lots.
You can get your license when you're 30.
Yeah.
But on the seatbelt thing,
how is this still a thing?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand it because it appeared that everybody had their seatbelt on. It wasn't that nobody was injured, right? Because a man and his son were taken to the hospital. I think they had some, they were sore and things were happening, whatever. Flash. My son is going to get checked out today because his hip is bothering him, his legs all brush burned. Nearly all of the airbags deployed. But it could have been so if my son had not had his seatbelt on. There is not a doubt in my mind, seeing the damage on that car, that that it would have been a lot worse.
Also, too, vehicle maintenance. And I'm embarrassed to say this, but I'm going to say it. This weekend, we had to go to Shreveport.
Mm-hmm.
On the way back, the car started to shake a bit, and then Monday morning, when I went to get in the car to drive here for the Josh show, it started shaking. So I immediately pulled to a mechanic in Cecilia. I had an inch of thread coming out of my tire. Like,
oh
it
my
was so,
gosh.
and I felt horrible because that put my family in danger.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you just don't think about it, but I'll never not think about it again. I check my tires every day now, and check those things, because even something as simple as that can cause a serious accident.
Without a doubt. And so the message in this is pay attention. This woman for not paying. And look, I don't think she meant to. Of course she did. I'm going to go get in an accident today. I mean, that's not something you wake up and plan, right? But regardless, accident or not, she affected the lives of 4 other people. She has inconvenienced them because my son is without a vehicle. We'll have to get a rental. We'll have to go through the whole insurance process. That's 2.5 hours of our lives yesterday that we'll never get back.
Yeah. But new car smell.
Yeah, right. Well, but here's the thing too, is that new car smell, they give you what your car is worth at that moment. Yeah. So... And that's what my son and I were talking about. I said, these are the things you have to take into consideration. You are never completely made whole in terms of the property you lose. You just aren't, regardless. You are not absolutely made whole. So anyway, stay off the phone, pay attention. It happens in just a flash, and wear your seatbelt. Please just wear your seatbelt. Anyway, now I'll step off my soapbox and we'll take a break. KPEL News Time is 6:50. Big savings at Rouse's Markets. This week, Sanderson fresh chicken drumsticks and thighs. They're value packed at 88 cents a pound. You're going to save 81 cents a pound. 88 cents a pound for drumsticks and thighs. Man, you can feed the whole family and it won't cost you a fortune. How about a 4-pound box of Mississippi farm-raised Guidry's random cut catfish? Just $2.80 a pound. You'll save nearly $17 a box. Go by Rouse's today. At Rouse's, Falcon and Cajun Country long grain rice are just 3 for 99 cents. Rice is on every Cajun table, and right now you can get Falcon and Cajun Country long grain rice 3 for just 99 cents. You're going to save almost $2 when you buy 3. And Rouse's tomato sauce, 3 for 99 cents. Is spaghetti a favorite at your house? Get down to Rouse's because you'll save 78 cents when you buy 3. You'll find more savings in store, or you can go online. They've got every single thing they have on sale posted right there. Rouses.com. Rouse's Markets, Louisiana owned. Go to Rouses.com to find out what they've got on special and to make your grocery list. Save some money.
Did you know that every year, 11 to 1,200 children are experiencing homelessness in Lafayette Parish? The Gifting Grace Project, Acadiana's Homeless Children's Outreach, works to provide and support these children throughout the year. Every donation goes to support these children and provide them with backpacks with school supplies, hygiene products, snacks, and more. Go to giftinggraceproject.com to learn more information or text GGP to 53555 and donate today. Thank you.
Party at Rock and Bowl all weekend, starting on Thursday with Jeffrey Broussard. Friday, LA Rocks. Saturday, Crossfire. And Sunday, Rusty Metier. Tickets now at rockandbowl.com. God bless you. God love you. And thank God for you.
Mostly sunny skies to start the day here, with a few clouds getting into the area by the afternoon. A 40% chance for some scattered showers and a couple thunderstorms. Highs getting up to about 92 degrees today. Winds from the east at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Overnight lows in the mid-70s, and a similar forecast coming up again for tomorrow. Drier air is on the way, and we should get it by Saturday. Temperatures will be in the mid-90s for the start of the weekend. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
All right, taking a look at news on this Thursday morning. Traffic, I'm sorry. Listen to me. All right, what day is it? Thursday? That whole soapbox thing, Jamie, has me all messed up. No accidents on the roads. That's good news. Current temperature 76 degrees. Good morning and welcome back into Acadiana's morning news on this Thursday, June 20th. It's the summer solstice. The sun will be up today for longer than it normally is, for the longest time that it's going to be up all year. Does that make sense?
It's going to be hot.
Yeah, right. Speaking of the heat, you are going to notice in the news that a federal judge is considering a preliminary injunction, essentially so that the prisoners in Angola don't have to work the farm line anymore because it's hot.
Oh.
And the lawsuit says that if the heat index reaches or exceeds, now this is the heat index, this isn't the index reaches 88 degrees or higher.
Stop it.
Yeah, that they shouldn't have to work.
You know, I have so many opinions about this, but number one, don't break the law. How about that? Let's start there.
Yeah.
You know, make better choices. Number two, thank goodness you don't work in road construction or, I don't know, serve in the military. Because you know where it was hot? Iraq.
Yeah.
Baghdad was really hot in the summer. I know that.
Yeah. And they, you know, they aren't like, oh, just stay in bed today. Because it's just the heat index, not even the heat. The heat index is going to hit 88. Cry me a freaking river.
Have some pride. You grow in vegetables. Look at you using your hands, being productive.
And I think about the linemen, whether it's, you know, whatever, pick a utility. They have to go up every day in those bucket trucks. So they're technically even closer to the sun.
Oh, you remember
and it's
Ida?
hot.
They're in water, climbing like waist deep in water, in the heat, the mosquitoes, the alligators.
And let me tell you, it's not like the chain gang, right? Like they just got, you know, whatever. They do give them rest and water breaks every 30 minutes. So
more than we got in the Army.
Yeah. So all you people who abide by the law and have to work outside and it's hot, you should be laughing at this. Like, I don't even understand it.
I mean, at least they're not breaking rocks.
Right? They're doing something productive. But anyway, just know that a federal judge is actually considering the injunction. I think he's probably shaking his head and scratching it and thinking, how can I basically tell him what to do with this injunction?
About all the migrant workers that work in this heat all the time, or I don't know, sugarcane farmers, or anyone that works outside? I tell you what, they don't want to farm, let them go pick up trash.
Yeah. There you go. Cry me a freaking river. Let's talk about firemen. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on, you know, but just know that this is something that's being considered, because when you sue somebody, a lot of times it has to go through the court system. But yeah, dude, no.
Yeah.
You
better choice.
KPEL News Time is 6:57. We have a look at news on the way.
The Fox Business Report is brought to you by Gulf Coast Bank, your local community bank. Whether your financial needs are for an individual, a business, or for the whole family, Gulf Coast Bank has the knowledge and products to serve you best. With 9 convenient locations throughout Acadiana, you're never far from a friendly Gulf Coast Bank associate.
I'm Maria Bartiromo, and this is the Fox Business Report.
There's merger news in the defense industry. The Wall Street Journal says Honeywell International is buying case systems from private equity firm Advent International. It's paying about $2 billion. Case is based in Arlington, Virginia. NVIDIA shares are up 2.5% this morning in pre-market trading. The artificial intelligence chip maker became the market's most valuable company in trading on Tuesday before the Juneteenth holiday. Samsung Electronics says its latest laptop, the Galaxy Book 4 Edge, which includes artificial intelligence features, is having problems running some software programs, including popular video games. Samsung says app developers are working on improvements. It uses a version of Microsoft's Windows 11 that uses technology from ARM. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola, invested in you.
A violent crime is committed every 24 seconds. The U.S. Concealed Carry Association exists to provide you with firearms education, training, and access to self-defense liability insurance. So when trouble comes, you'll be ready. Over 800,000 Americans trust the USCCA, and right now, there's an exclusive, limited-time offer for radio listeners. Go to defendfamily.com to get a free family defense guide, a survival secrets training video from a retired FBI agent, and see all the benefits of membership. Go to defendfamily.com now.
Attention fishermen. The fish are biting across the state, and now is a perfect opportunity to be on the water. Hunters for the Hungry is a nonprofit that encourages sportsmen in Louisiana to donate a portion of their game or fish to the hungry of our state through food banks. Now you can also help by providing a monetary donation when you purchase your fishing or hunting license online at wlf.louisiana.gov or your local license provider. Please check yes and donate to Hunters for the Hungry. Follow Hunters for the Hungry on Facebook and Instagram for more ways to show that sportsmen who care share.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pros studio. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
He's feeling left out. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The presidential candidate who hopes to be part of the first debate a week from today.
It seems unlikely that independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will take the stage with Trump and Biden next week. He missed that midnight deadline to meet the polling and delegate criteria needed to qualify. A new Fox News poll shows Biden and Trump with a large lead on RFK Jr. That poll puts Biden at 43%, Trump at 42%, and RFK Jr. at 10%.
That's Fox's Brooke Singman. Now, head-to-head, the Biden lead is 2 points in the Fox poll that shows the president benefiting from a growing number of voters who say the economy is in excellent or good shape, about a third. The president also has an edge among the voters who say the most important issue is the future of American democracy. Former President Trump is favored by voters on the immigration issue. It is going to be another hot day as summer starts.
We go home, like the heat, the humidity is in the house, so we have the AC on high, and my friends and family are pretty much doing the same thing.
She's in Philadelphia, where it could hit 98 degrees this weekend. Today, there are heat advisories or warnings. Michigan up to Maine. Tropical storm Alberto moving into Mexico. Its heavy rains have also reached South Texas, causing some flooding. Russian President Vladimir Putin is in Vietnam, signing agreements the day after a trip to North Korea to bolster their alliance.
So far, South Korea has only offered Ukraine humanitarian assistance in its war against Russia. But the Russian-North Korean agreement to defend each other if attacked has suddenly changed the dynamic. The presidential office in Seoul condemning the deal and warning it'll reconsider its policy of only supplying Ukraine with non-lethal aid.
Fox's Jonathan Savage, an American who donated $50 to a Ukrainian organization, has gone on trial today in Russia, charged with treason. Ksenia Karolina is from Los Angeles, but is a dual Russian citizen and was arrested in February when she went back home. America's listening to Fox News.
All right, who's there for heroes or their families left behind when a service member or a first responder dies or is catastrophically injured in the line of duty? Who helps our country's homeless vets? I'll tell you who. It's the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Never forget the sacrifices of our country's greatest heroes. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month. Just go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org, the letter T, number 2, letter T.org for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Progressive presents 10 things on a contractor's to-do list that are harder than getting a commercial auto insurance quote. Bidding a new client, giving an accurate estimate, finding affordable materials, getting a client to pay you for work you already did, getting a client to pay you, period, securing permits and workers and tools, getting those workers and tools to work together, and finding the perfect pair of overalls. Pockets, baby. But the easiest thing on a small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you can save on commercial auto insurance. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy.
Your 24/7 news source. On air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wirtz with a look at news on this Thursday, June 20th. One man has been arrested following a multi-agency investigation. A coordinated effort between Iberia, Vermilion, Acadia, and Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Offices led to the apprehension of 37-year-old Damon Campbell on Tuesday. Campbell was arrested in Iberia Parish and booked into the Lafayette Parish Correctional Center on one count of attempted first-degree murder. The case involves allegations of crimes committed against a juvenile, so no further details will be provided. A Rain Man is in custody following a standoff in Acadia Parish Wednesday afternoon. Deputies had been looking for Des Moines DeCluet on outstanding warrants when they saw him enter his home. They attempted to make contact before getting a search warrant. Once inside, they found DeCluet hiding in the attic. DeCluet faces 24 counts of violation of a protective order, 23 counts of telephone harassment, and 1 count of aggravated obstruction of a highway. Sources are reporting that Louisiana head softball coach Jerry Glasgow may be leaving UL to accept a position at Texas Tech. With the exception of the 2020 season, Glasgow has led the Raging Cajuns to NCAA postseason play each of the 7 years he's been coaching them. He's also got 6 Sun Belt Conference championships under his belt. Governor Jeff Landry signed the 10 Commandments bill into law Wednesday morning. The law requires public schools and colleges to display the 10 Commandments in each classroom. At a Republican fundraiser in Tennessee, Landry said he can't wait to be sued for signing the bill, and the ACLU of Louisiana said they will sue because the U.S. Supreme Court has already overturned a similar law more than 40 years ago. The ACLU of Louisiana, along with other advocacy groups, say they will be filing a lawsuit on the grounds of separation of church and state. Governor Landry also signed the LA Gators Scholarship Program into law Wednesday, which will provide vouchers for more parents to send their kids to better schools. Bill author Senator Rick Edmonds of Baton Rouge says Gator will look similar to the current voucher program for low-income students and students in low-rated schools. The plan is to eventually expand Gator to cover students of all incomes in schools. Phase 1 of Gator is set to start in the 2025-26 school year. A federal judge is considering whether to issue a preliminary injunction that would block farmline operations at Angola Prison when the heat index reaches 88 degrees. Plaintiff Ronald Marshall says the brutality of the Angola farmline isn't a secret and refusing to work results in solitary confinement. The State Department of Corrections says the work conducted on the farmline is in accordance with constitutional and industrial standards, and policies are in place to make sure the inmates are safe, like allowing for rest and water breaks every 30 minutes once a heat alert is issued. The DOC maintains the policy and the operation of the farm line is constitutionally appropriate. That's a look at your news. I'm Tracy Ward.
Mostly sunny skies to start the day here, with a few clouds getting into the area by the afternoon. A 40% chance for some scattered showers and a couple thunderstorms. Highs getting up to about 92 degrees today. Winds from the east at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Overnight lows in the mid-70s, and a similar forecast coming up again for tomorrow. Drier air is on the way, and we should get it by Saturday. Temperatures will be in the mid-90s for the start of the weekend. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
All right, we don't have any accidents on the roadways. That's good news on this Thursday morning. Current temperature is 77 degrees. And it's time now for the national anthem. KPEL News Time is 7:09.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
morning and welcome back into Acadiana's Morning News. It is 7:11 on this Thursday, June 20th, the summer solstice. Tracy Wertz in. Jamie Angel riding shotgun this morning. And it's time for Lafayette Live. This week, we are fortunate to be joined by Matt Duyon, the CIO of LCG. Did I say that right, Matt?
That's correct.
All right. So first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and what the heck is a CIO?
Yep. So I'm from Maine. Lived there now 6 years. Grew up there. Lived in Lafayette for a while. Worked for Lafayette General Health for 12 years. Doing IT for the majority of it. Nurse before that. So kind of have a varying background of experience with customers or patients in that sense. But doing the IT side now, I've been doing is trying to bring the innovation. How can we better interact with the citizens of Lafayette Parish? Make it easier for them to do things. That's kind of where our drive is in that side. So the CIO is the Chief Innovation Officer, so kind of on the technology and bringing things that brings Lafayette up to 2024.
Yeah. Okay, so you were a nurse?
Was a nurse before, yes.
Wow. That's a jump, huh? That's a jump from
So
what?
why'd you switch? You just iffy around blood or something?
No, that's not an issue. I've always enjoyed computers, and I wasn't sure if that was what I wanted to do full on.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the nursing side. My father was a physician, so I kind of knew the healthcare side.
Are you Dr. Duyon's?
I am.
I love Dr. Duyon. I have a funny Dr. Duyon story. Can I tell a quick funny Dr. Duyon story? His dad, for those of you who don't know, is a doctor in Rain. And my daughter, when she was about 3, cut her finger. So we go to the ER. Dr. Duyon's on call. And, you know, I'm a paranoid, nervous mom, right? So my mom and dad come with me. My husband, I think, worked offshore at the time. And my mom and I stay out and they have the curtains. And so my daughter, they have to strap her to this papoose board because she is the definition of wild child. You know, she's angry, she's hollering. And your dad was just so calm. Like, you know, I'd have been like, shut up and stay still. Like, that's my personality. But your dad, she has this cut on her finger and like the whole pad anyway, I won't go into graphic detail. But he's like, oh, I see you have a cut. And she's like, get away from me. I mean, it's exactly how she's screaming. She's screeching. And he said, what's your name? And she goes, Taryn, get away from me. And he would ask her these questions and she would answer. And he says, when's your birthday? And so she tells him, and again, that follows, get away from me. And he says, I'll never forget this. How do you know? Dead silence. She had no idea how to respond to that. It took her a few seconds before she screamed, get away from me. But I'll never forget hearing your dad's very calm voice. Anyway, I know you didn't come in to talk about your dad, but I love your dad, so I needed to say that. All right, so Matt, back to you. What sort of things are you looking at when you talk about improving technology within LCG?
Yeah, so trying to bring down the barriers of how hard it is to get things done, to communicate with us. We are looking at new processes, new solutions to communicate with the community easier. I know we have a messaging. We can text message for alerts and weather. We're looking at one that's even easier we can use for a wide scale for events and weather and a whole bunch of other things that everyone can sign up easy. Like everyone's that we used to text this number to enter. We're kind of going with that same mentality so we can make it easy for everybody just to join in. Looking at how do we increase the ability to pay remotely, pay from your phone or have kiosks throughout Lafayette or things that we can do that make it easier. And
when you say pay, you're talking about like LUS fiber. Okay.
Yeah. So we try to make it easy. So if you don't have a smartphone or don't have access to the computer, how can we make it easy for you to get to that point?
Okay.
And looking at a new website of making it easy to see alerts, see changes, events going on, that we can have a better calendar and an easier interaction with everybody.
Yeah.
I think almost everyone has a phone in their pockets now, that we can make it more web friendly and communicate with them.
Right. No, that makes sense. Because I mean, LCG has a decent website, but I go to it often, and there are definitely things that can be improved. But that's not singular to LCG. I think it's hard to keep up with that kind of stuff. But glad that you guys are looking at that. Your long-term goal in this particular role, if you had 3 things that you really were focused on, what would they be?
Probably efficiency. both within and outside of trying to make processes kind of current. Ease of access and integration. So the ease of access is for everyone to get in, whether it's transparency of record requests. We're trying to make it so you can request online and get the file electronically, try and save the paper process of printing, and then just make it easier for everybody.
Yeah, sounds good. Jamie, you got any questions?
No.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going, like you guys are definitely working in the right direction. And if they have any questions, if let's say they are on the website and they have trouble finding something, or they have trouble with anything as it relates to technology, how do they let folks, I mean, is there a method by which they can say, hey, I can't find this, or I would like for you to make it easier? Maybe there's some suggestions from a user perspective. How do they do that?
Yeah, so on the bottom corner, there's a contact us. So all the contact us requests comes to our team to see from a web page, what can we improve upon? Or if it needs to be relayed to communications or public works, we'll forward those around.
Okay, so if you have suggestions, if you've been there and had difficulty navigating it or whatever, because I would think that that's where you want a lot of your suggestions to come from, the people who are actually there, right?
Mm-hmm. People who use it every day or who have issues with it. Some things we can look at and think, oh, if everything looks fine, looks great, but until you hear it from someone else's perspective, you don't realize of what's missing.
It's funny because I think in all industries, we have a tendency to swim in our own little pool, right? And we see things from a much different perspective than the people outside. And it's so important that you do get input from people who don't live in the LCG bubble, or, and are like, you know what, I can't find this. Like this is too difficult to find. Because I think if people have to dig too far, and you might think, oh, well, it's there. But if they have to dig too far and click more than twice, that's frustrating.
Yes, it is. And think about if you call some number, like, oh, press 1 for this, and you hit 1. You have a whole other option of 9 options. You hit that one. It's just too much time. It's too cumbersome.
Right. And, in this day and age, when we were younger, Jamie, we were called the microwave generation. The microwave generation, we moved too slow for people who are up and coming, and that's not a bad thing.
Now my kids have to program the microwave.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's smarter than I am.
But I appreciate you guys looking at that, and it'll be interesting to see what changes come down the pipeline. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Matt. We certainly appreciate it. Did we not ask you anything that we should have?
No. I think it's good. We are trying to make it just easier for everybody.
Okay.
And so that's our goal. If anyone has any feedback, please reach out to us on the Contact Us page, and we'll be glad to review it and see what we can do to make it easier.
Right. All right. KPEL News Time is 7:19.
Fox on Tech.
Another U.S. government agency makes the case that TikTok is bad for your kids. The Federal Trade Commission is now urging the U.S. Department of Justice to take action, believing that TikTok and its China-based parent company ByteDance are violating federal laws, both the FTC Act of 1914 and the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. While the FTC didn't publicly detail what prompted their statement, previously published reports accused TikTok and ByteDance of making users' data available to entities based in the People's Republic of China, such as the ruling Communist Party. To what end is unknown, but that is the reason Congress and President Biden signed a law demanding ByteDance sell the property to a U.S.-based operator or face a ban, something which potentially could take TikTok's U.S. audience away from it. No word on what the DOJ might do in the future. With Fox on Tech, I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
Mostly sunny skies to start the day here, with a few clouds getting into the area by the afternoon. A 40% chance for some scattered showers and a couple thunderstorms. Highs getting up to about 92 degrees today. Winds from the east at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Overnight lows in the mid-70s, and a similar forecast coming up again for tomorrow. Drier air is on the way, and we should get it by Saturday. Temperatures will be in the mid-90s for the start of the weekend. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
No accidents on the roadways this morning. Current temperature is 77 degrees. KPEL News Time is 7:24. We are continuing our Lafayette Live segment with Matt Duyon, who is the CIO, Chief Innovation Officer for Lafayette Consolidated Government. And Matt, we had a caller during the break asking about 311. Is it still a thing, and what sort of information can residents get when they call 311, or what's the what's the appropriate time to call that number?
Yeah, so 311, we still have it active. It's active from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. You can call for anything where you see drainage issues, branches on the limb, road issues of potholes, things like that. You can call or let us know. We can track it. You can also go onto the website, 311lafayette.services, and log a request or an incident there. Once you log it, you'll get a number, and you can check the status of it. Right now, the status is having some issues. We're working on getting it updated, so that way, if you do log an issue, you can go back and see, hey, it was been resolved, someone looked at it. Because sometimes you may be passing by, want to do your part, call in, let us know. That way you can kind of see that it was taken care of.
Now, I know that during COVID, 311 served other purposes as well. Are you guys, do you foresee using it for, I don't know, any other informational purposes versus people having to call 911 or some other agency?
Right now, we're not quite going back to that point of it yet.
Okay.
If things change and we need to, we can flexible and use it for that portion of it. Right now, we're still looking at just reporting things that we can take care of it within the parish.
That's a good, at least they have that avenue. And what's that website? I wasn't even aware of that.
311lafayette.services.
311lafayette.services. You learn something new every day. Yeah, Today was the day.
So those who don't want to call in, or you can just do it yourself, or if it's after 5 o'clock, there will be no one there to answer. So you can still have the request put in.
Oh, very interesting.
There's a bunch of requests on there, too. Tall grass, junk vehicles, things like that. But I remember there was a ton of things that people would call in and they'd be added and updated. I imagine it's still the case.
So if you have that, that's the place to do it. And to me, the website would be easy because you can type everything in, and really flesh out the message. But anyway, call 311 if you need to report something that's not emergency. Correct. Like, if it requires the police, that kind of thing, of course, you need to reach out to the Lafayette Police Department or Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office. But that's interesting to know that you can go on the website, too.
Yeah, and for those who have maybe utilities, even after hours, you call 311, it gives you the option of forwarding you to LUS Fiber and LUS Utilities. So you kind of have one number if you don't know and there's an outage, you can call in the same way.
How handy.
The more you know.
I know, right? I love that. Matt, it really has been educational. Thank you. I'm just so impressed about the website. I don't know why that's impressing me today, but thank you so much for coming in and sharing what you're doing. We look forward to any of the changes. And remember, he said before the break that if you're on the LCG website, which is LafayetteLA.gov, if you're on the website and you are having trouble navigating it or you have suggestions on the way they could improve it, then go ahead and do the contact us, and Matt and his team will get that information and add it to their list of potential adjustments to make so that they serve the people of Lafayette better, right?
Yeah, make it easier as much as we can.
All right. KPEL News Time is 7:27. We've got to look at local news on the
now.
KPEL covers Acadiana with Lowry's Printing and Copying.
Dr. John W. Sutherland will give a fun and informative presentation about his third environmental book at the Southside Regional Library in Lafayette on Johnston Street, Saturday, June 22nd at 2 p.m. Sutherland has conducted environmental projects worldwide and in Louisiana. His third book, Hogwash, addresses environmental concerns about confined animal feeding operations. First 5 attendees get a free autographed copy. Derek J. Olivier Foundation of Louisiana Scholarship Fund is a fundraiser for young Derek, who lost his life unexpectedly as a college student. The fundraiser is Saturday, June 22nd at Mona Me, 7304 Highway 90 East in Jeanerette, 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Music by EJ the DJ, some delicious food, all for a great cause. Get more details. Call Alma at 337-579-0308.
This is House Call for Health. A recent report on kids and sleep says some young kids aren't having an easy time drifting off to fairy tale land and staying there. In a national poll on children's health from C.S. Mott Children's Hospital, about 1/4 of parents say bedtime is difficult for their kids ages 1 to 6, and that worries or anxiety were among the top reasons. The poll also finds that when kids are worried, they may wake up crying, move to their parents' bed, or want parents to stay in their rooms with them, and that having nighttime routines for kids, such as brushing teeth, telling bedtime stories, praying, or even having stuffed animals, makes it easier to fall asleep. The report also says while a dark room is considered the best environment for healthy sleep, parents can gradually help children feel more comfortable sleeping in darkness by using a nightlight or cracking open the door. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health, I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the Cape Hill News app. Now the headlines from the Cape Hill News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wirtz with a look at news on this Thursday, June 20th. One man has been arrested following a multi-agency investigation. A coordinated effort between Iberia, Vermilion, Acadia, and Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Offices led to the apprehension of 37-year-old Damon Campbell on Tuesday. Campbell was arrested in Iberia Parish and booked into the Lafayette Parish Correctional Center on one count of attempted first-degree murder. The case involves allegations of crimes committed against a juvenile, so no further details will be provided. A Rain Man is in custody following a standoff in Acadia Parish Wednesday afternoon. Deputies had been looking for Des Moines DeCluet on outstanding warrants when they saw him enter his home. They attempted to make contact before getting a search warrant. Once inside, they found DeCluet hiding in the attic. DeCluet faces 24 counts of violation of a protective order, 23 counts of telephone harassment, and 1 count of aggravated obstruction of a highway. Sources are reporting that Louisiana head softball coach Jerry Glasgow may be leaving UL to accept a position at Texas Tech. With the exception of the 2020 season, Glasgow has led the Raging Cajuns to NCAA postseason play each of the 7 years he's been coaching them. He's also got 6 Sun Belt Conference championships under his belt. Governor Jeff Landry signed the 10 Commandments bill into law Wednesday morning. The law requires public schools and colleges to display the 10 Commandments in each classroom. At a Republican fundraiser in Tennessee, Landry said he can't wait to be sued for signing the bill, and the ACLU of Louisiana said they will sue because the U.S. Supreme Court has already overturned a similar law more than 40 years ago. The ACLU of Louisiana, along with other advocacy groups, say they will be filing a lawsuit on the grounds of separation of church and state. Governor Landry also signed the LA Gators Scholarship Program into law Wednesday, which will provide vouchers for more parents to send their kids to better schools. Bill author Senator Rick Edmonds of Baton Rouge says Gator will look similar to the current voucher program for low-income students and students in low-rated schools. The plan is to eventually expand Gator to cover students of all incomes in schools. Phase 1 of Gator is set to start in the 2025-26 school year. All Louisiana library systems are now required by law to implement options for parents to restrict what material and content their children can access. The new regulation was passed during the 23 regular season. Lafayette Public Libraries now offer both restricted and unrestricted child cards. Library cards issued to minors prior to May 28th of this year will still be valid to use at the library, but will be set to a restricted access level by default on August 7th. Questions should be directed to the Lafayette Public Library's administration office. A federal judge is considering whether to issue a preliminary injunction that would block farm line operations at Angola Prison when the heat index reaches 88 degrees. Plaintiff Ronald Marshall says the brutality of the Angola farm line isn't a secret and refusing to work results in solitary confinement. The State Department of Corrections says the work conducted on the farm line is in accordance with constitutional and industrial standards, and policies are in place to make sure the inmates are safe, like allowing for rest and water breaks every 30 minutes once a heat alert is issued. The DOC maintains the policy and the operation of the farm line is constitutionally appropriate. New red drum regulations go into effect today. There's a 4-fish daily limit per angler. You can only keep red drum that measure between 18 and 27 inches in length. The retention of red drum by captains or crew on charter or headboats while on a for-hire trip is also prohibited. These limits are in place to help increase the population of red drum after LDWF discovered evidence of overfishing. That's a look at your news. I'm Tracy Ward.
Acadiana drivers, did you know that bicycles are considered vehicles under Louisiana law? Cyclists have the right to use the roadway same as motor vehicles. You're urged to share the road by giving a buffer zone of at least 3 feet when passing a cyclist. Yield to cyclists as you would another motorist. And remember, a cyclist does not have the protection of a vehicle if they're in a crash. Protect your fellow citizens on bicycles. This announcement was brought to you by Bike Lafayette. Learn more at bikelafayette.org.
Democracy 24.
Former President Donald Trump announced a promise to eliminate taxes on tipped income at a campaign event in Las Vegas, home to one of the country's most robust hospitality sectors, and in a state he narrowly lost in 2020 and 2016. The most recent estimates from Nevada show that 1 in 4 private sector workers have a job that relies on tips. Still, some in the hospitality industry are calling this an unserious campaign promise, saying it doesn't solve the issue at hand, making a livable wage. And this includes Nevada's largest union, the Culinary Union. Nonpartisan watchdog group, the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, warns the former president's plan could cost up to $250 billion over 10 years. In Chicago, Kelly Saberi, Fox Business.
Mostly sunny skies to start the day here with a few clouds getting into the area by the afternoon. A 40% chance for some scattered showers and a couple thunderstorms. Highs getting up to about 92 degrees today. Winds from the east at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Overnight lows in the mid-70s, and a similar forecast coming up again for tomorrow. Drier air is on the way, and we should get it by Saturday. Temperatures will be in the mid-90s for the start of the weekend. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
All right, taking a look at the traffic on the roadways. No accidents. That's good news to report. Current temperature early on this summer solstice is 77 degrees. KPEL News Time is 7:40. Tracy Wirtz joining you, and riding shotgun today is Jamie Angel. Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning, Tracy.
Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, by the way, we do have our law enforcement segment. We'll be joined by the Youngsville Police Chief and also representatives from the Lafayette Police Department. So look forward to that. Right now, I want to talk about tipping culture. This is something, and one of the things that Bankrate basically did a survey on it, and Ted Rossman, a Bankrate senior industry analyst, said tipping is a hot button issue that doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. Now, according to this particular survey, Gen Zers, millennials, and men are the least frequent tippers across many service categories. 59% of people have a negative view about tipping, with 35% saying tipping culture has gotten out of control. Now, you and I have a few thoughts about this.
Yeah, just a few.
Okay. My first one is that it seems like everywhere we turn now, people expect to get tipped. Like everywhere. You go to a coffee shop, you go to, and there's the tipping option, and I'm like, what? Yeah. Why? Like you came to work and you're doing your job. Like nobody tips me for just doing my job, right?
I mean, sometimes if I'm paying with cash, which is not often, and I don't hang on to change.
Right.
We have a big water jug at home we throw change in, but I'll throw it. If they have a tip jar on the counter, I'll throw it in there.
Yeah.
Or if it's, like March of Dimes or something, I'll
right.
throw a few coins. But yeah, no, we went to Taco Bell the other day, and for just 3 of us, it was almost $40 Taco Bell.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, you wouldn't tip at Taco Bell, but
Right. No, but
prices are
some
so
of them do.
high.
Like
Yeah.
when it comes up on the screen
Or
in
they
front
ask
of
me
you.
to round up, yeah.
They either ask me to round up. Now, typically it's for a good cause when it's those
Absolutely.
situations,
And I'll do it
sometimes
if I
I'll
can.
say yes, sometimes I'll say no. Depends on the cost, but because I'm one of those people. Where is it going? Like I'm going to ask. But it's the ones where, and I'm trying to think of, like there have been a few places where do you want to tip, and it was very out of the ordinary, and you could put no tip, 5%, 10%, 20%, and I always feel like a jerk when I hit no tip, but no. Like, I'm not tipping you.
What do you tip? Do you ever have groceries delivered?
No.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we
Because I like
do-
to go pick my bananas.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
That's understandable. Yeah, we got all those kids and, life.
Yeah. No, I get it. My
so-
daughter loves it.
We like to get we do it for pickup, but there's always the tipping part. And it's like, what do you tip someone who is already being paid? We always tip.
Exactly.
But they are being paid to drive the groceries to my house.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they're getting paid, but I don't like when they automatically say, hey, this is the tip. You can go in and change it if you want, but
Right.
you're going to tip this driver $20 for driving 5 miles to deliver your groceries. I'm not.
Yeah, and that part of tipping culture to me has really, really, really gotten out of control. I will always tip my waiters and waitresses at restaurants because still unbelievably, you and I were talking about this off air. They're $2.10, $2.13 an hour is what they get paid. Something that had me thinking. Now I still tip them, but I was watching reels on Facebook as we do, and one of them that came up was Candace Owens. And a number of months ago, she had a segment talking about tipping culture. And her husband is not from the United States. And he was just kind of flabbergasted by all of the times we're asked to tip. And she talks about all the things they were talking about in terms of who gets tipped, whatever. And then they started talking about tipping at a restaurant, like for a waiter or a waitress. And he said, I don't understand that. And she said, what are you talking about? Like, they don't make anything. That's how they make their money. And he said, but he said, think about it this way. That business owner, that restaurant owner pays his employees $2 an hour. Me as a customer, I am patronizing his business, his or her business, by going and eating and drinking and doing the things that you do at a restaurant. Mm-hmm. And then I have to pay his staff. I'm still going to tip, but it really gave me cause for pause. It's like, wait a minute. And to your point about you're getting paid however much you're getting paid an hour. And I'm not talking about waiters and waitresses. You're getting paid to do a job.
Yeah.
Why should I, as a consumer who's already patronizing that business, have to pay you in addition to what you're getting paid to do your job?
But if you're willing to leave it up to me, you better believe I am going to pay you according to the job you've done.
No, absolutely.
I don't just tip to tip. I mean, if you're not taking care of me.
No, your tip will reflect the service I receive. We have somebody on the phone. Good morning. You're on the air. Hello. Oh, they hung up. I guess they didn't want to go on the air with us. Yeah.
But about to call us cheap.
Yeah. And that's okay. I think that in a lot of ways it's gotten out of control.
Well, and I'll say this. I mean, if you're going to go to a restaurant and spend the kind of money that we're spending nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
And let's be real. Like, a couple's not getting out of a good dinner, a decent dinner, without paying less than $100.
Right. You're right.
That better be the world's best experience if you're asking me to pay 20%, 18% on top of that. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, if I had a wonderful time, I'll tip you 100% if it's that great.
Right.
But again, don't leave your pay in my hands if your job performance is not going to meet the standard that I have in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, and you're absolutely 100% right. And when I go to a restaurant, my tip is definitely going to reflect the amount of money that I leave them. All right, we're going to go back to the phone lines. Good morning, KPEL. You there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, just barely.
Oh, okay.
Tipping is a gratuity. It's even listed that way when they have to show it on their taxes. It is gratitude for a job well done. If they don't do a good job or they just do an average job, then as you say, the tip should reflect. But if they're just doing their job, then what above and beyond are they doing? What are they doing to earn that gratuity? I'll sit back and listen.
No, and that's, you know what, that's a great point, and I think that's what we're talking about here is, words matter. Words matter. Gratuity, it's in gratitude for what you've done. Mine is definitely now, here's the thing, I have to say this because God watches, right? I'm typically not going to leave no tip or be like some jerks and just leave like a penny. You know, I'll leave something, but it definitely will be reflective of the kind of service, your attitude, how quick you are. On the other hand, I will always look around if they're short-staffed and you're a little slower than I would have liked and that kind of thing. I mean, I take all of that into consideration, right?
One thing I can understand because I worked in the restaurant industry for a while, but I don't like it is automatic gratuity of like parties of 6 or more. I get it. You want to take care of your service staff and make sure they don't get understandable. Bigger tables usually have a bigger ticket, should be a higher tip. It's not right to force or tell someone that it's going to be automatically included. Because I'll go in there, and if the service is bad, I will mark on the ticket the tip that I feel is appropriate. And they have to go and change it.
Right. Oh, they do.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's just the minimum, or that's what they automatically charge you.
Yeah.
You can.
So when
even if you're in a big party,
15% gratuity or whatever added to parties of whatever or more. If you got subpar service, simply ask for the manager, tell them you want to adjust the tip amount, and they have to do it.
See, that's two things I learned today. 2 things. I love to learn new things. All right, let's go to the phone line. Good morning, KPEL.
Yeah, I just want to talk to somebody on the on-air show.
Yeah, that's us. This is Tracy, and Jamie's sitting over there. You're on.
Yeah, I'm just calling in reference to the tipping part.
Okay. What you got?
A couple of weekends ago, we were down in New Orleans and having a few beers and stuff. And so looking at our receipts from the different establishments we visited, they would add the tip in and put it real small on the bottom. And you didn't even notice till after. Even the restaurants was already adding the tip to your total bill, whether it was 2 people or 6 people.
Really?
Well, if you're going to do that, just include it in the price.
Yeah. Then you're just going to get it what you're going to get.
So it's like, you go in and you paid and you tip an extra 20 and they get like $40 on top of that,
Wow.
I do like when they suggest the tip amount, like 18%, 50%.
I like when they put those numbers at the bottom. Well, thank you for the heads up on that. Be careful out there,
yes,
okay?
Ma'am, have a good one. Thank you.
Okay, bye. Oh, I think they went away. So I had another caller going. But anyway, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back and wrap up our discussion about tipping. KPEL News Time 750. KPEL News Time is 7:54 on this Thursday morning. You might want to watch out if you are on Kali Saloom. There is a major accident, Kali Saloom at Boye. That's right there by Dino's South. So that probably is causing a slowdown. Tracy Words, Jamie Angel, we've been talking about tipping culture and whether you do, whether you don't, how much you do, et cetera, et cetera. And we've got a caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Bertie.
Tracy, but that's okay. You got a comment for us? Did you want to talk about tipping culture?
Hey, Bernie.
No, this is Tracy, but hi.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tracy.
That's okay. What you got?
This is Tim.
Hey, Tim.
I don't know if y'all had mentioned this because I was holding, but that's, tipping is a big conversation in our household, too. It's out of control. And where I really found out how bad it was that I had a wedding. My daughter got married in September.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I found out, in addition to the cost of everything being sky high, is that you tip everyone involved in the wedding.
You mean who? What?
I'm talking about tipping the person who bakes the cakes, the members of the band, the photographer. All of your vendors get tipped. And I don't know if 100% of people do that, but that was customary in all of our conversations with everyone involved.
Really?
I would say that probably just the tipping itself costs somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,000 to $3,000.
No.
I got three daughters. I can't afford all that.
I have two, and one is on the way. And but if you ask around, I guarantee you'll hear exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, so here's my other question. Like, do they put you in tip jail? Because I'm going to be the jerk that says no.
Huh.
You know, like it doesn't.
I don't think you're going to be in. I don't think you're going to be in tip jail. But if you have any time, we had a wedding day coordinator. In other words, you can have one for the whole period, and we didn't need that. We did a lot of things on our own. But as for the day, it works out pretty well because you don't have to worry about everybody getting straight and everything else. But nevertheless, she mentioned about the tipping as well, of us knowing that it existed, and we gave all of the tips to her in separate envelopes, and she distributed all the tips to everyone.
No kidding.
So I didn't know if you were aware of tipping is very much out of control. And you had mentioned earlier on a place, or I'm trying to think of different places that do this. I don't know if you've been to like a donut shop, like
yes,
Cajun
it's those
donuts,
weird. It's those weird places like that.
Yeah, I mean, you're at the counter and you just order a dozen donuts, and if you put it on your card, or probably without the card, I don't know, but I always do. They just flip around the little screen right there for a tip. And I don't quite understand. It's gotten totally out of control. I don't mind tipping very well at restaurants if the waiter goes, beyond the call of duty. But it's something that they're taking advantage of, and it's I don't know.
No, and Tim, thank you for saying, because that is exactly my point. When you it's a little jolting when you go someplace and they flip that little screen around, and you're like, what? Like, I don't know how to react to that.
Oh, I always change it.
I hit no tip.
Yeah.
I'm just that jerk, and I don't mean. And the thing is, I resent feeling like a jerk. It shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't feel like a bad person when you hit no tip.
Well, that's the reason why they do it.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you what. I'm just going to continue to be a jerk. Tim, thank you so much for the call and for warning me, because I've got a couple of weddings coming up too. Wow. It really is just out of control, Jamie.
It's too much.
All right. We have to take a look at news, and then we'll talk to our law enforcement officers. KPEL News Time is 7:59. News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pros studio. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
It's the first day of summer, and it feels like it. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The house is hot, and heat rises, so we're just trying to get through it.
She's in Philadelphia, where it may hit 98 degrees this weekend. It's part of a large area of the north under heat alerts.
Stretching from the Great Lakes region to the Ohio Valley and into the Northeast. Excessive heat warnings have been issued in places that have never seen them before. The National Weather Service in Caribou, Maine, on the northern tip of the state, has issued its first ever such warning due to an expected feels-like temperature of 110 degrees.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Tropical storm Alberto is now moving inland into Mexico. Mexico, where it'll dissipate tonight. The storm's heavy rains already drenched South Texas, causing some flooding.
We thought the rain was going to come down on top, but we didn't know it was going to come up through the storm drains.
He's in Galveston. President Biden goes to Camp David today to start prepping for next week's debate with former President Trump. Independent Robert F. Kennedy Jr. failed to qualify to join them. He's more than 30 points behind those two in a new Fox News poll. In a head-to-head matchup, Fox's Jessica Rosenthal reports.
President Biden has 50% support in the latest Fox News poll to former President Trump's 48%. The first time the president's been ahead of the former president since October, though it's still within the margin of error. The poll found independents go for President Biden by 9 points. Fox News pollsters note shifting opinions on the economy may factor into these numbers. 70% disapproved of the president on inflation in December. Now just 62% do.
Still, the poll shows voters prefer the former president on the economy and immigration, but a majority favor President Biden on abortion and health care. We could get a big Trump ruling from the Supreme Court next hour. His claim that he should be immune from prosecution over official acts taken while he was president. It's one of more than 20 cases the court has left to decide this term. A case justices could hear someday may come from Louisiana. The ACLU plans to file a suit over the 10 Commandments. America's listening to Fox News.
You know, since 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been committed to supporting our nation's first responders and veterans. They support America's heroes like U.S. Army Major Jonathan Turnbull. Now, Major Turnbull sustained devastating injuries at the hands of an ISIS suicide bomber. Tunnel to Towers gave him a specially adapted smart home designed for his needs. Join Tunnel to Towers. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month so this great work continues. Their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Progressive presents 10 things on a contractor's to-do list that are harder than getting a commercial auto insurance quote. Bidding a new client, giving an accurate estimate, finding affordable materials, getting a client to pay you for work you already did, getting a client to pay you, period, securing permits and workers and tools, getting those workers and tools to work together, and finding the perfect pair of overalls. Pockets, baby. But the easiest thing on a small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you can save on commercial auto insurance. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy.
Your 24/7 news source. On air, online, and with the Cape Hill News app. Now the headlines from the Cape Hill News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wertz with a look at news on this Thursday, June 20th. One man has been arrested following a multi-agency investigation. A coordinated effort between Iberia, Vermilion, Acadia, and Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Offices led to the apprehension of 37-year-old Damon Campbell on Tuesday. Campbell was arrested in Iberia Parish and booked into the Lafayette Parish Correctional Center on one count of attempted first-degree murder. The case involves allegations of crimes committed against a juvenile, so no further details will be provided. A Rain Man is in custody following a standoff in Acadia Parish Wednesday afternoon. Deputies had been looking for Des Moines DeCluet on outstanding warrants when they saw him enter his home. They attempted to make contact before getting a search warrant. Once inside, they found DeCluet hiding in the attic. DeCluet faces 24 counts of violation of a protective order, 23 counts of telephone harassment, and 1 count of aggravated obstruction of a highway. Sources are reporting that Louisiana head softball coach Jerry Glasgow may be leaving UL to accept a position at Texas Tech. With the exception of the 2020 season, Glasgow has led the Raging Cajuns to NCAA postseason play each of the 7 years he's been coaching them. He's also got 6 Sun Belt Conference championships under his belt. Governor Jeff Landry signed the 10 Commandments bill into law Wednesday morning. The law requires public schools and colleges to display the 10 Commandments in each classroom. At a Republican fundraiser in Tennessee, Landry said he can't wait to be sued for signing the bill, and the ACLU of Louisiana said they will sue because the U.S. Supreme Court has already overturned a similar law more than 40 years ago. The ACLU of Louisiana, along with other advocacy groups, say they will be filing a lawsuit on the grounds of separation of church and state. Governor Landry also signed the LA Gators Scholarship Program into law Wednesday, which will provide vouchers for more parents to send their kids to better schools. Bill author Senator Rick Edmonds of Baton Rouge says Gator will look similar to the current voucher program for low-income students and students in low-rated schools. The plan is to eventually expand Gator to cover students of all incomes in schools. Phase 1 of Gator is set to start in the 2025-26 school year. A federal judge is considering whether to issue a preliminary injunction that would block farmline operations at Angola Prison, when the heat index reaches 88 degrees. Plaintiff Ronald Marshall says the brutality of the Angola farm line isn't a secret, and refusing to work results in solitary confinement. The State Department of Corrections says the work conducted on the farm line is in accordance with constitutional and industrial standards, and policies are in place to make sure the inmates are safe, like allowing for rest and water breaks every 30 minutes once a heat alert is issued. The DOC maintains the policy and the operation of the farm line is constitutionally appropriate. That's a look at your news. I'm Tracy Wirtz. The Rustic Renegade is your one-stop shop in Lafayette for firearms, concealment furniture, men's grooming products, and our locally roasted coffee. Now, big giant applause for Lafayette. Thanks to you and your votes, Lafayette is now in the top 3 for the South's Best Culinary Town by Local Palate magazine. This fall, the winner will be featured on the cover of the Local Palate South's Best Culinary Towns issue. And that can mean awesome things for the Lafayette travel community, like hotels, restaurants, tourist and family attractions, all those things that make us love Lafayette even more. Now, you can vote one time each and every day until Friday, the 21st, for Lafayette to win. And to make it even easier, all you have to do is go to the LafayetteTravel.com website, click on the link on their homepage, takes you to the Local Palates voting page. We also have that link on our website, kpel965.com, or on our KPEL app. Again, Lafayette is in the final 3, and we need you to go back and vote more. You can do it one time a day. Get your friends, your family, your coworkers, get everybody you know to vote. When the magazine built their initial list of 10 towns, they said they looked at everything from the restaurant, bar, and cafe scene to the town's farmers markets, educational classes, coffee shops, kitchen and home goods retailers, wine shops, and more to determine which towns would make the top 10. And of course, Lafayette made the top 3. So right now, go vote at LafayetteTravel.com. You'll find the link there, or go to our website, kpel965.com, or our app. Vote today, vote tomorrow, vote Friday, and get everyone you know to vote for Lafayette to win the best culinary town.
This Fox Business Report is brought to you by Walter Campbell and Deborah Pierce of Keller Williams Realty. For all of your commercial property needs, reach out to Walter and Deborah today.
I'm Lauren Simonetti, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The Bank of England has decided to leave interest rates unchanged and says its policy needs to be restrictive for an extended period of time. Earlier today, the Swiss National Bank cut interest rates for the second time. Federal Reserve officials have been conflicted on whether or when there will be interest rate cuts in the U.S. this year. Toyota says it will stop production at 5 plants in Japan today because of a parts shortage. The automaker says it will make a decision tomorrow on whether it can restart the plants. There's been a lot of speculation about whether weight loss medications will cut into the sales of snack companies. However, Danone, the parent company of Dannon and Activia yogurt, plant-based dairy products, and Avian water, sees sales growing in coming years. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jim Cosola, invested in you.
A violent crime is committed every 24 seconds. The U.S. Concealed Carry Association exists to provide you with firearms education, training, and access to self-defense liability insurance. So when trouble comes, you'll be ready. Over 800,000 Americans trust the USCCA, and right now, there's an exclusive, limited-time offer for radio listeners. Go to defendfamily.com to get a free family defense guide, a survival secrets training video from a retired FBI agent, and see all the benefits of membership. Go to defendfamily.com now.
Mostly sunny skies to start the day here, with a few clouds getting into the area by the afternoon. A 40% chance for some scattered showers and a couple thunderstorms. Highs getting up to about 92 degrees today. Winds from the east at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Overnight lows in the mid-70s, and a similar forecast coming up again for tomorrow. Drier air is on the way, and we should get it by Saturday. Temperatures will be in the mid-90s for the start of the weekend. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
All right, we have an accident southwest of Angelin Thruway and General Mouton. Be careful in that area. It's the summer solstice. Sun is, of course, up 79 degrees. Good morning and welcome back into Acadiana's Morning News. Tracy Wertz with you. My sidekick this morning, Jamie Angel. And it's 8 o'clock. It's Thursday morning. That means our law enforcement officers, our law enforcement departments come in and visit with us and let us know what's happening in their particular areas. This morning, we have a visitor from Youngsville Chief of Police, Cody Olivier. Did I get that right? Louvier.
Cody Louvier. You were close. You were close.
Sorry, Cody.
That's all right.
Louvier. Louvier. Yeah. Your new name, Cody, is Olivier.
I'll change the name tags today.
First of all, thank you so much for coming in this morning. It's a pleasure to see you.
No, thank you for having me.
How's Youngsville doing?
Youngsville's doing great.
Yeah?
We love it there. We're lucky to have the town and the community that we have. It's fantastic.
But you are dealing with some vehicle burglaries. Tell us what's going on.
We are. They always uptick during the summer months. Unfortunately, kids are out of school. We have people running around with good weather. It's a constant thing that we deal with, but it's something that we really want to get across to our citizens and give them some good tips on what to do to keep themselves safe, their families safe, and of course, all of their belongings safe every day.
All right. So what are they?
Very, very important when you're parking your vehicles, especially when you're going to be leaving them for a long period of time or overnight. First thing, always make sure all your valuables are out. Tablets, cell phones, money, any guns, especially. Those are things that criminals love to take. They love to look for them. They love to see what's there of value that they can either keep for themselves or sell. Mm-hmm. So that's number one. Number two, I always tell people, lock your doors, put up your windows, check them more than once. When you go outside to check the mail later on that evening, check your doors again, make sure they're locked. Don't leave key fobs, extra keys inside your vehicle. People have a habit. They don't want to have to look for them in the house, so it's easy to leave them in a cup holder or in an ashtray. Well, we don't even have ashtrays anymore, I guess. But, consoles. I guess I'm showing my age right
cubby
now.
Holes? No.
Cubby holes, right.
Right.
But take those out. So many cars are pushed to start. It's too easy for them to get in when they're stealing everything else. They're trying those cars just to see if they're going to start if that key's local.
Right.
So get those out of there.
And, I think a lot of people have a false sense of security. You live in a neighborhood where the houses are close and you're like, oh, my neighbor has security cameras or I have security cameras. It's no big deal.
Or like me, I grew up in Vermilion Parish where, back when I was growing up, people didn't lock their houses. They didn't lock their cars. Yeah. We didn't worry about stuff like that. And overall, we do have a good community. We have a good community. We have a safe community. And that's our number one priority, Youngsville Police Department, is to keep it that way. But unfortunately, no matter where you're going to live, the safest, the best neighborhoods, the gated neighborhoods, you're still going to have people that are out to no good and out to harm you or take things from you that don't belong to them.
When we talked to, within the last week, maybe it was last week when we talked to our law enforcement folks, we talked about vehicle burglaries because, as you said, it's uptick. And Youngsville is not singular. But something that they suggested, and I want to ask if it's the case in Youngsville, is if you find out that your car has been rifled through, but they didn't steal anything, go ahead and report that because that will help you guys watch in terms of patterns.
Well, and not only that, file those reports. Let us come in, even if they didn't take anything. We're still going to try to take fingerprints, process the vehicle, not to mention every case that we build on these suspects, a burglar is a burglar. So if they break into your vehicle, even if it's unlocked and take or don't take anything, that's still a criminal charge. So on these criminals that are committing these crimes, we want to build cases on them. We want to put all these crimes together, and we're going to charge them with every single count that they have. That way, when we get to the prosecution standpoint and we're bringing this to the courts, we can show them this is how many vehicles that they attempted to get into, even though they didn't get anything. Right. Even attempted burglar. If you have no video that they're trying to open your door and you have your vehicle secured and they can't get in, that's still a crime.
Really?
Absolutely. That is an attempted burglary. We will still charge them with that. If we have them on video doing it at your residence, that is another charge for that criminal. So please let us know.
Okay. It seems like criminals, or maybe it's just me, but with the advent of cameras, everyone's got these Ring doorbells. I know I have ADT security at my house. I have cameras. But it seems like criminals are getting a lot more brazen and bold, knowing those cameras are there and not really caring. I mean, I've seen videos where they'll look at the camera and keep going.
You're right. And fortunately for us, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it helps us out in our investigations. But they are. And these are crimes of opportunity.
Right.
These people know that they can go through these neighborhoods. They know that there's going to be a percentage of vehicles that's going to be unlocked. So if you're taking that away from them, then you're fixing some of the problem.
And we watch it. We watch it on these videos where they go to these cars, they pull on these handles, and they're not going to take the time to do anything more. Maybe unless they see something valuable that they really want. But, breaking the window is very seldom. It's an opportunity. If they pull on it, they move it on to the next.
Right.
So protect yourselves by doing those things.
And that's 3 things today, Jamie, that I learned. I'm you know what? I'm going to feel like I need a diploma when I leave here today. But I did not know that if you see them on camera trying to get into your car, that's a crime.
We will notate it as an attempted burglary, and we can, so to speak, stack that charge on them to get them once we get them arrested.
Do they still sell the club? You remember that thing where you put on your steering wheel and you lock it?
Oh, yeah. So they can't steal your
I'm too old to stay up that late anymore, so I don't see those infomercials, but I bet they do.
I remember those. No,
Those things work.
But what I'm thinking is, because my brain is odd and it works like this, I'm like, how many times have I gone to the wrong car in a parking lot?
I've gotten into the wrong car. I'm pretty sure my key fob worked on someone else's
Done that in my
car
own
once.
driveway.
Yeah, but and so that's not what we're talking
No,
about. It's
absolutely not.
obvious
Absolutely
that
not.
that they're doing that.
Yeah, for sure. And just remember, when you're installing these surveillance systems, motion sensor lights are great. We see it all the time on these cameras where, they walk in front of the motion light, it comes on, then they want to quickly divert somewhere else. It does move them around. I know some people think, well, everybody has motion lights, it doesn't make a difference, but it does.
Right.
These people are trying to work in darkness. They're trying to work in areas where they can't be seen. Whenever vehicles pass down the road, they're hiding and ducking behind houses.
My house is lit up like Christmas. Like literally. We got those permanent Christmas lights.
I know what you're talking about.
We can change them for but we always leave them on like a white light,
Yeah,
and
no, it's
our
great.
entire perimeter, the front of our house is lit up, and for good reason. Not that we live in a dangerous place.
Well, but nobody, even, and Cody, even when you live in a neighborhood that is very safe or you feel safe
Those are the attractive targets.
Well, that. Yes, absolutely. Because criminals are migratory.
Absolutely.
They're going to find the place where they're going to get the largest payoff for the least risk.
And they change their patterns. They change their tactics sometimes. And that's why we as law enforcement, I make sure our department is constantly changing our patrol tactics and the things that we do to try to keep our citizens safe.
Right.
I would imagine safer neighborhoods too. They kind of let their guard down. Like, Sugar Mill Pond, just using, not to pick on them, but it's in Youngsville, using them as an example. Great neighborhood, low crime. And I'm sure folks there are just used to like being neighborly but I mean, you could be vulnerable too at the same time. Yeah. There's low crime for a reason, but don't let your guard down.
Well, and if that criminal wakes up that day and decides, okay, this is the subdivision I'm going to hit today,
right,
or tonight, then that could be yours. And the thing is, while it's infuriating that we have to do those things to protect our the things that we work for, right? It's as easy as locking the door. Mm-hmm. I mean, just lock your doors.
And keep an eye out, even during the day. That's what we've seen it too. Keep an eye out for what's going on in your neighborhood. You're passing through, you're going home for lunch, or if you're somebody that works from home, if you see something that's not right, if you see somebody in the neighborhood that you may have never seen before, they're acting suspicious. A lot of them are walking down the street. They may be looking around for a target that night. Call us. Call the Youngsville Police Department. Call your local police department. Let us know. Let us go talk to those people. A conversation doesn't hurt. Once we have that conversation, usually we can ascertain what they're there for. It may just be a new person in the neighborhood. It may be somebody running. Who knows? Right. But we can still talk to those people, have those conversations, and figure out who they are and see what they're up to.
Yeah, that's good. And by the way, if you ever see me running in a neighborhood or anywhere, I'm being chased or I'm in
Something
trouble,
scary
so
is
you need
the
to
other
come
way.
help me. Okay, I'm just, going to throw that out there. KPEL News Time is 8:20. We will continue our conversation with Youngsville Police Chief Cody Louvier. We're going to call you
He's Irish
Louvier.
today.
That's right.
I'll take it.
Go vote. Go vote. Well, right now it's something fun to vote about. Cast your vote for Lafayette. It's the final voting for the South's best culinary town. Lafayette is in the top 3 to be named the best culinary town in the South. This fall, the winner will be featured on the cover of the local palette South's best culinary towns issue. Vote daily for Lafayette, Louisiana at LafayetteTravel.com.
Mostly sunny skies to start the day here, with a few clouds getting into the area by the afternoon. A 40% chance for some scattered showers and a couple thunderstorms. Highs getting up to about 92 degrees today. Winds from the east at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Overnight lows in the mid-70s, and a similar forecast coming up again for tomorrow. Drier air is on the way, and we should get it by Saturday. Temperatures will be in the mid-90s for the start of the weekend. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
Still working that accident southwest of Angelin Thruway at Southwest General Mutah. So make sure you're careful in that area. Could be moved off the roadway, but if it's not, that's why you're slowed down. Current temperature is 79 degrees. KPEL News Time is 8:23 on this Thursday, June 20th. 8 o'clock hour on Thursday mornings, we talk to our law enforcement folks around Acadiana and find out what's happening in their areas. This week, we've got Youngsville Police Chief Cody Louvier. I'll let you drop, though.
There we go.
I'm kidding. We try to have a lot of fun and joke around. But let's talk about something serious. You said you guys are hearing about phone scams?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of citizens, a lot of scams. Years ago were always a lot of elderly people. They kind of key in and focus on them. These days, we're seeing it across age groups. What they're doing, the big scheme right now is these scammers are actually calling law enforcement agencies, asking the law enforcement agencies who's working, getting real names of real supervisors, real law enforcement officers.
No.
Yeah, it's on another level. And then they're using that to call our citizens. They're placing those phone calls to our citizens, giving them false information that they have active warrants for various different crimes, and that they need to pay them, they need to take money out and put it on gift cards. And that's frightening to a citizen who's,
absolutely.
You may get lucky and get a criminal on the phone that you're calling, and then they're even more scared because they know they've committed crimes. But sometimes it's average citizens that have no idea. They've never done anything wrong in their life. But when a police officer's calling them, identifying themselves, then they get scared and they immediately want to react to that, and they want to give them that money. But we can tell you no law enforcement officer is going to call you over the phone and ask for money. They're never going to ask you for any payment. They're never going to ask for gift cards, nothing of monetary value from you over the phone. If you have a warrant, they're going to reach out. They're going to serve you at your house. A law enforcement officer is going to show up at your residence. None of that's done over the phone. That's not a common practice in any law enforcement agency.
That's good to know. This morning, I got, and it's everywhere. I got an email this morning in my work email that said, my name looked very official. You have an outstanding, it was like traffic ticket. And I'm like, I immediately deleted it. But that thing in the back of my brain was like, I didn't get a ticket. Or maybe it said it caught me on camera or something. I
got the same one. It's funny because I just logged into my Town Square email for the first time this morning, right? I have never even logged into it before. I have like 150 emails. One of them is like, I got a speeding ticket on camera in New York. That was a quick trip, I'm sure.
Sure, yeah. Turnaround trip.
I don't think I've ever been to that place in New York. And then some other ones. And it's like, man, I
well,
didn't
but they're
even
official
start
looking.
here.
And how, it takes some cojones to call a police officer, and I'm sure you guys get asked, who am I speaking to all the time, right?
And, a lot of times these scammers are from out of the country. They're typically not from the United States. It's typically spoofed phone numbers that they use, and they'll use these apps or these programs on their computer that it mirrors a phone number. So it looks like it's coming from something local, but it's not. But just remember, if you have any questions, take the names down of who's calling you, write it down on a piece of paper. Get a phone number. Tell them you'll get back with them, and call your local police department. Call 911. They'll transfer you to whatever local police department you're at if you don't have that number, and we'll verify. We'll even send a police officer over to your house. But don't give any money over the phone. Don't leave your house to go purchase anything. Remember, a big scheme that they use with that is they'll try to keep you on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
They'll try to coach you and say, you need to stay on the phone, or we're going to come to your house. You need to drive to the store to buy these gift cards. That's never going to happen. Law enforcement is never going to do that. So that should raise a bunch of red flags immediately that something's not right. Something's not quite adding up.
Right. No, and that makes it, because if you think about it, they're calling you, and they're probably, we've talked about this with Chris Babin before with the Better Business Bureau, where people call and they know which words to use to instill fear and anxiety and all of those things that cause you to act or react in a way that you normally wouldn't if you were in a more reasonable place. But if they're calling you, then nobody's there with a gun, nobody's there with handcuffs, nobody's there. Give me a number where I can call you back, or can you call me back later? And like you said, then you call the police office.
Yeah.
And if it, not that it would be, but if if something is valid, then they're going to let you know. Absolutely. But like you said, you guys aren't going to call them.
It's not a thing. You know, it's very seldom police officers call. They usually try to go to house. I'm not saying it never happens,
right?
But it will never happen where they're going to be asking you for money. That's not a thing.
And you know what, too? Think about that. Like, check on your people. You know, call your mama, call your papa.
Absolutely.
Tell them about these things because they might not know, and they are the ones who are getting taken advantage of. Older people. Call your mom and dad if they're older. Tell them about these things. Yep. Explain to them, you know, my dad didn't start texting until like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
I think we take for granted that everybody's on the internet and everybody's reading Facebook and reading Twitter and everything else. And you're right. It's just not. And even, you know, we say our grandmothers and grandfathers. You have people that are my age. You know, I'm 41 years old that still don't do the social media thing for various reasons. Maybe it's their profession. Maybe it's just they just hate the internet and they try to stay away from it. So
I
just
hate
have those conversations.
I despise social media.
Well,
I shouldn't say that, you know, working in radio, but I'm not a big fan of it. I don't care for it.
Right.
There's a time and place for it.
Sure.
But yeah, it's dangerous.
It is.
I think it's very dangerous, especially with some of the information that.
Well, and
believe.
even if, and like I said, they use the right words, and they're, like you said, they're targeting all age groups. Someone, you know, who even is younger than me, I'm not going to tell you how old I am. You know,
35.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Right.
Yes, with a little experience. But anyway, you know, may not fall for that. May be a little bit more savvy when it comes to those things, but people over a certain age that may have grown up where your police officers called you all the time or whatever.
And they have that respect for law enforcement.
Exactly.
So when they hear that name and that rank, it immediately just instills that, well, they got to be telling the truth.
Right.
This has got to be something I did that I didn't know that I did. You know, and I'll be honest, some people get scammed and it's far-fetched. I hear the charge that they're telling them that they did, and I'm in my mind, I'm like, you know, but it's still that fear, that unknown. Who's on the other side of the line? What's going on? Is there something that happened and maybe they think it's me?
I just say, come to my house and arrest me.
Right. Well, and I hearken back. Chris Babin told us a story a few weeks ago, and it's stuck in my mind about a man. They got it on Scam Tracker. A man who lost $50,000. Relatively well-educated man, had retired, got a phone call that there was an issue at the bank. This person, you know, and whatever information that person shared sounded legit. Had him stay on the phone, go to the bank, withdraw the money. Don't tell anybody what you're doing because you don't know who you can trust. And we aren't talking about people who aren't intelligent people or don't, you know, and it can happen to anybody.
They're very believable.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, it goes back to, you said emails, text messages.
Mm-hmm.
I've been getting a lot of text messages. This bill is late, or this account's been hacked. You need to go to this, you know, your Netflix has been hacked. Come here and give us your credit card or your banking information so we can update it for your direct draft.
Right.
You know, all that stuff. If don't click on the links. My suggestion is when you get that text message or when you get that email, go directly to your account. Right. Log into your account for Netflix or whatever, Amazon, whatever app it is, and check it yourself. Yeah. That way you can tell, or call that 1-800 number that's on the website, not on these links.
And to just kind of wrap up what Chief Louvier said is, number one, law enforcement will never call and ask you for money over the phone. They won't ask you for anything like that. And if you do get a call like that, just let them know so that you guys can keep a record.
Take notes and call our department.
Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
KPEL News Time is 8:32. This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wirtz with a look at news on this Thursday, June 20th. One man has been arrested following a multi-agency investigation. A coordinated effort between Iberia, Vermilion, Acadia, and Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Offices led to the apprehension of 37-year-old Damon Campbell on Tuesday. Campbell was arrested in Iberia Parish and booked into the Lafayette Parish Correctional Center on one count of attempted first-degree murder. The case involves allegations of crimes committed against a juvenile, so no further details will be provided. A Rain Man is in custody following a standoff in Acadia Parish Wednesday afternoon. Deputies had been looking for Des Moines DeCluet on outstanding warrants when they saw him enter his home. They attempted to make contact before getting a search warrant. Once inside, they found DeCluet hiding in the attic. DeCluitt faces 24 counts of violation of a protective order, 23 counts of telephone harassment, and 1 count of aggravated obstruction of a highway. Sources are reporting that Louisiana head softball coach Jerry Glasgow may be leaving UL to accept a position at Texas Tech. With the exception of the 2020 season, Glasgow has led the Raging Cajuns to NCAA postseason play each of the 7 years he's been coaching them. He's also got 6 Sun Belt Conference championships under his belt. Governor Jeff Landry signed the 10 Commandments bill into law Wednesday morning. The law requires public schools and colleges to display the 10 Commandments in each classroom. At a Republican fundraiser in Tennessee, Landry said he can't wait to be sued for signing the bill, and the ACLU of Louisiana said they will sue because the U.S. Supreme Court has already overturned a similar law more than 40 years ago. The ACLU of Louisiana, along with other advocacy groups, say they will be filing a lawsuit on the grounds of separation of church and state. Governor Landry also signed the LA Gators Scholarship Program into law Wednesday, which will provide vouchers for more parents to send their kids to better schools. Bill author Senator Rick Edmonds of Baton Rouge says Gator will look similar to the current voucher program for low-income students and students in low-rated schools. The plan is to eventually expand Gator to cover students of all incomes in schools. Phase 1 of Gator is set to start in the 2025-26 school year. All Louisiana library systems are now required by law to implement options for parents to restrict what material and content their children can access. The new regulation was passed during the 23 regular season. Lafayette Public Libraries now offer both restricted and unrestricted child cards. Library cards issued to minors prior to May 28th of this year will still be valid to use at the library, but will be set to a restricted access level by default on August 7th. Questions should be directed to the Lafayette Public Library's administration office. A federal judge is considering whether to issue a preliminary injunction that would block farm line operations at Angola Prison when the heat index reaches 88 degrees. Plaintiff Ronald Marshall says the brutality of the Angola farm line isn't a secret and refusing to work results in solitary confinement. The State Department of Corrections says the work conducted on the farm line is in accordance with constitutional and industrial standards, and policies are in place to make sure the inmates are safe, like allowing for rest and water breaks every 30 minutes once a heat alert is issued. The DOC maintains the policy and the operation of the farm line is constitutionally appropriate. New red drum regulations go into effect today. There's a 4-fish daily limit per angler. You can only keep red drum that measure between 18 and 27 inches in length. The retention of red drum by captains or crew on charter or headboats while on a for-hire trip is also prohibited. These limits are in place to help increase the population of red drum after LDWF discovered evidence of overfishing. That's a look at your news. I'm Tracy Wirt. If you think that no seatbelt beeping noise is annoying, wait until you get a ticket. Buckle up, Louisiana.
Mostly sunny skies to start the day here with a few clouds getting into the area by the afternoon. A 40% chance for some scattered showers and a couple thunderstorms. Highs getting up to about 92 degrees today. Winds from the east at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Overnight lows in the mid-70s, and a similar forecast coming up again for tomorrow. Drier air is on the way, and we should get it by Saturday. Temperatures will be in the mid-90s for the start of the weekend. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
We are still showing the accident southwest of Evangeline Thruway near its intersection with Southwest General Mouton. Hopefully it's been moved off the roadway, but if not, if you're slowed down, that's why. Also, a few minutes ago, major accident being reported, 5100 block of Ambassador Caffrey Parkway. That's right past Vero School Road on Ambassador Caffrey near that racetrack. Right, Matt? Okay. KPEL news time is 8:41. Let me get your current temperature on this Thursday morning, 79 degrees. KPEL news time again, 7:41 on this Thursday morning. Tracy Wirtz in with you. Riding shotgun today is Jamie Angel, and our law enforcement segment continues with the Lafayette Police Department. We've got Robin and Matt, and I always want to say sergeant or lieutenant or what. And I always forget that. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all are just Robin and Matt.
It's not important.
Yeah,
It's not important.
I'm good with that.
It is important because you did earn that. And so anyway, it's just like we're all one big happy family. We were talking off air with you guys about something called the Explorer program. And I am absolutely fascinated. And I know that we've got listeners out there who need to know about this and who might have children or grandchildren that are interested. Tell us what's going on.
Absolutely. So the Explorer program, we've had it for years, and it kind of came and went. And so in 2014, we brought it back to Lafayette Police Department. And so it's for kids between the ages of 14 and 20 years of age that may be interested in a career in law enforcement. So basically, we get you when you're entering high school. And so it's almost like walking a mile in our shoes by being in this program, because we actually teach you what it is to be a police officer. Now, exploring, let me go back a little bit, and I'm going to just kind of explain to you a little bit about what exploring is.
Please.
Exploring was actually created through the Boy Scouts. It was actually called a Learning for Life program. The guy that originally started the Boy Scouts program felt that kids after a certain age needed some type of guidance to help them realize what it is they wanted to do in life. And he felt like kids between the ages of 14 had no idea what they wanted to do once they were finished with high school. So hence he had the Learning for Life program, and it produced the Explorer program. Explorer program is not really just for law enforcement. You have Acadiana Ambulance who have an Explorer post, fire department, and some of our other local law enforcement agencies who have kind of started their own programs as well, which I think is great. So we have ours. We brought it back in 2014. And since then, we've actually hired 3 of our explorers that came through our program as officers on the road. They are patrolling as of today with our other officers. And it makes me feel kind of like a proud mama because I've actually watched these kids at 14 years old come into their own, and now as adults, and they're on the road working side by side with me and my other brothers and sisters in blue. And so it's a wonderful feeling for us, especially the advisors that work with these kids, see them when they come in and they're timid and don't have a voice, and then we build them up into these officers that are actually serving our community. Now, we also have another female. She's actually working in dispatch. She decided to go the dispatch route, but still, it helps fill in the gaps. And these kids come in with the knowledge rather than somebody just walking through the doors and say, hey, I want to be a police officer. No, they actually know what they're getting themselves into, and they have a little more knowledge of the job.
Right. Now, so let's say you sign up, a kid signs up, or you sign up your child. What does the program look like? You said walk a mile in our shoes, but what do they do?
So when they come into the program, they come twice a month from 6 to 8 in the evenings at the police department. And so what we do is our first actual meeting is, what is a police officer? And we find out from them, like, what do you think that we do? And then we kind of get rid of the
myths.
Yes, absolutely. And then we teach them about the uniform, everything we wear, and it's kind of like an orientation. And then from there, we have scheduled trainings, like we do traffic stops, we do building searches, teaching them how to clear buildings when officers get those calls. It's the same training as our officers get. It's just a little watered down because they are kids, and we have to take that into consideration. We teach them about domestic violence. So many times these kids, they may be living in a home like that and don't even know what's going on. So they get to actually learn about those types of things, how they're handled and how training comes into play, and always being alert and attentive to your surroundings. And these are some of the traits that they can take and input into their regular lives,
Who do they during these twice a month classes? Is it the same teacher? Is it different ones? How does that work?
So they will see the same officers for every meeting, and that's our advisors. And you want to kind of keep the same people every meeting because that's the rapport building. You want them to be comfortable with you because we're not just a program teaching them about law enforcement. We are big brothers and big sisters in this program. Some kids do have come with issues, that they may be dealing with. And so we want them to feel comfortable enough to come and talk to us before they make the wrong decisions.
Right.
So we're not only just officers training them, we are also mentors to these kids. So they get comfortable, they get to know us, we get to know them. But we do bring in other officers with different specialties.
Right.
Like
Canine is one of them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The horses?
Yes.
That's my favorite.
We bring in defensive tactics because we do teach them defensive tactics. So they get to deal with some of the people in our training section.
Right.
We actually bring them to the range. They take a gun safety course. And so they get to interact with our range masters. And then this is the really perk about the program. After they've been in the program a year, done their summer training, they get to do ride-alongs. So think about it. You're 14, 15 years old.
How
you
awesome.
can actually go ride with an officer and see everything that you've learned put into action.
Oh, that is so cool.
Usually for most agencies, you have to be at least 20, 21 years old
Right.
before you can do ride-alongs. But this is a major perk for these kids because they get to ride with an officer.
Now, do they just do it for a year? So if they start at 14, can they continue the
Can
program?
continue the program.
Yes.
Right.
It really opens the door to the whole police department for these kids to, and whether or not you decide to become a law enforcement officer at the end of it, it's a tremendous experience that a lot of teenagers don't get to see unless you get in a program like this. Yeah. So what happens is you're able to really fully understand the job and what we do, in addition to the training, the experiences that you get as they get in the program kind of in depth. They're able to be a part of a lot of our different big events that we have. I mean, we utilize them to be a part of a lot of things. National Night Out in October, Mardi Gras, I mean, different things. So it's a great experience for these kids, and we've had tremendous results and success behind it.
We'll talk about how you qualify, how you sign up, and just a few more of the particulars if you're interested in this, if you know a child that may be interested in this. But we need to take a quick break. We'll be right back. KPEL News Time, 8:49. Got a case of the I don't know what I want to eat? We'll check the Dining by District page at eatlafayette.com and choose a restaurant. While dining, check in using your digital passport to win a 3-night getaway with airfare from Wings Travel to Austin, Texas for 2. Eatlafayette.com. From Lafayette Travel. KPEL News Time is 8:52 on this Thursday morning. Okay, what's her name? Bonnie?
Miss Bonnie.
Miss Bonnie. Yeah. And everybody, I'm trying to balance. Y'all all got your big boy and big girl voices. Like you're yelling at a suspect.
Yeah, we got
right.
it this time.
Okay.
And I promise I'll get used to it and I'll start talking louder in the morning.
I'm working on it because let me tell you, ooh, Lord. Okay, so it just means that people are paying attention and listening, and we have something interesting to say, and I'm excited about that. All right, so let's continue our discussion about the Explorer program because this is really fascinating. This is where the Lafayette Police Department encourages 14 to 22-year-olds to come in and start learning about what it means to be a law enforcement officer. And I'm sure it's heartwarming to see that some of the people who have finished those programs are now a member of your ranks. That's just amazing.
It is. It is heartwarming. And every time I run across them in the hall, it's like I embarrass them because I have to embrace them and hug them.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so people are listening and they're thinking, oh, man, this would be great for my child, my grandchild, whatever. What are the steps to get them enrolled? And what are the qualifications, I guess, too?
So all they have to do is they have to contact Lafayette Police Department, and they can ask for Sergeant Robin Green, or they can email me at rjgreen@lafayettela.gov. Send me an email or give me a call. And so after that, I'll go through a question and answer. And because people always have a lot of questions about the program before, especially this is your children. This is a major step. So give me a call. And then what I'll do is I always invite the kids to come to a meeting. We do an observation phase before parents pay that membership fee, because that's a fee you can't get back. So we like the kids to attend 3 meetings to see if this is a good fit for them.
Right.
And then once after the 3 meetings, we meet with the kid, and then we decide whether this is a good fit or not. And then we go through the membership process and get them fitted with a uniform, and they start learning.
Okay, so you say membership fee. What's the membership fee, and is there a scholarship program of any kind if they need help?
So the membership fee does not come to Lafayette Police Department.
Okay.
It's done through Boy Scouts.
I gotcha.
And so the membership fee, at this time, I don't have that information.
No, that's okay.
But if they want to contact the Boy Scouts office, the local office, they'll be able to give them the fee for exploring. Well, it's basically the same fee as being a scout nowadays.
Is there a website that folks can go to learn more about it, or is that something you plan on doing in the future?
So we do have a Facebook page.
Okay.
And the Facebook page is really great because we have actual videos of our summer training for the past couple of years. Nice. And so kids can go on and look at these videos, these training videos. Mm-hmm. And what's so cool about them is that they're watching kids their own age.
Right.
You know, actually doing police department techniques and stuff
Right.
and training. So we do encourage, a lot of times when I talk to parents, I say, look, check out our Facebook page. It's Lafayette Police Department's Post 911. And you can go and you can access our videos, watch them, and see if this is something that you or your kid might be interested in. And just give us a call, contact us. We're, like I said, we're in a space where we're starting over again.
And it's administered through the Boy Scouts, but they can call you guys and you can help them through that process, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So membership comes, we actually do the membership paperwork and then we submit it in.
Got it.
And I'll tell you this, from firsthand observation, the kids that are in this program absolutely love it. I don't know if it's just Robin, because everybody loves Robin.
Yeah, well, yeah,
I think it has a lot to do with Robin.
Yeah, but you won't regret it. You'll have a good time and you'll learn a lot.
Well, and, we only have about 30 seconds left, but I want to make this statement in that it's so much better to get them in early and see positive things and be around that versus being, because I can imagine the mindset it instills in them.
And like we said earlier, even if you don't decide to become a Lafayette police officer or a police officer in general, the experiences that you have from this, they're tremendous that most teenagers don't get the experience ever.
Give Robin a call to find out about the Explore program. Matt, Robin, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to see your faces. KPEL News Time is 8:57. Thank you for joining us this morning. Have a great day and God bless.
The Fox Business Report is brought to you by Gulf Coast Bank, your local community bank. Whether your financial needs are for an individual, a business, or for the whole family, Gulf Coast Bank has the knowledge and products to serve you best. With 9 convenient locations throughout Acadiana, you're never far from a friendly Gulf Coast Bank associate.
I'm Jerry Willis, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Home building slowed considerably last month. Housing starts, groundbreakings for new construction declined 5.5%. Economists were expecting an increase. Permits for new construction declined 3.8%. However, the readings on the job market are mixed. The number of new claims for unemployment benefits declined 5,000 to 238,000 last week. More people are remaining on unemployment. Continuing claims rose by 15,000 to 1.82 million. And the Philly Fed's manufacturing survey for this month came in much weaker than expected. Kroger is reporting a better than expected quarter. Sales rose and Kroger is standing by its forecast for the year. Kroger's shares are up nearly 3%. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Posolda, invested in you.
A violent crime is committed every 24 seconds. The U.S. Concealed Carry Association exists to provide you with firearms education, training, and access to self-defense liability insurance. So when trouble comes, you'll be ready. Over 800,000 Americans trust the USCCA, and right now, there's an exclusive, limited-time offer for radio listeners. Go to defendfamily.com to get a free family defense guide, a survival secrets training video from a retired FBI agent, and see all the benefits of membership. Go to defendfamily.com.